And would you look at that, the green screen is actually working properly for once. Huzzah! How's everybody doing today? Hope the world's treating you well. Let me know how the audio sounds. Am I too loud? Is the music too loud? The music should be quiet. Let me boost this just a little bit. Yeah, that's better. Hello, Dylan. Hello, Lukak. Gonna be a nice chill day today. Felicia Fans. Oh, Felicia Fans currently streaming. Oh! I wasn't aware. Oops. I am not meaning to... not meaning to compete. That's on me. Yeah, don't worry about sticking around. Hey, 3XHS. Hello, Grimlock. Akanu. Got a lot of people here today. What's Felicia streaming, just out of curiosity? Yesterday it was bad, 90 degrees out with low humidity, felt like I was thrown into an oven. Yep, it's only gonna get worse. Something to look forward to. Alright, but we're all good on audio? Everything sounds nice? Half, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's about 5 total. We can probably get at least one more up. Music is a bit too loud. No problem. Bump that down a little bit. Let me do this. Something like here-ish. How about now? How about now? Spring is the best season, has the perfect temperature. It depends on where you live. I live somewhere with a very sporadic set of weather. Like today, it's scorching hot, and then, but 2 days ago, snowing. Just cannot decide what weather it wants to have. Still a little too loud? Alright, thanks for letting me know. About now. Let me shuffle this playlist real quick. There we go. Right. Where on earth do I live for it to be snowy then scorching? I live right next to a mountain. A mountain and a lake, just kind of sandwiched between the two of them. So the weather is just kind of whatever it decides to be. Alright. Well, I think we can get started. Is there anybody around that wants to... Anybody in the chat that hasn't gone yet? I know a lot of our regulars have already had their ideas covered. If there's nobody here, we'll just go down the list. Not... Get this one open from Willy. Just in case we don't get anything. Because I'm pretty sure everybody in the chat's already had their stuff covered. So yeah, we'll just start going down the list. This one's for... I am not going to use the music, because that definitely looks like something somebody else... Oh yeah, definitely not! Oh, Grimlock hasn't. Oh, okay. Let's scratch that. We'll get to Willy's a little bit later. Where... Grimlock, what is your... what's your stuff under? Tort. Alright. Strictly more into a peasant's perspective while the Roundtable relay was first announced, so sorry to mention the Disney Universe. Okay, Tort, I love the sound of this, but this isn't what we're talking about today. Oh, wait, hold on. Is this a different one? Tort here again. Okay, alright, this one, okay. This sounds great, but I would save this Byleth rework for, like, actual peasant's perspective. This one, though, definitely we can cover. Alright. Let us begin. I'm gonna be moving the chat around a lot just because of PowerPoints. Concept introduction. Ridley is too big for Smash, a phrase that became utterly infamous before the announcement of Ultimate, and since Ultimate has become a more tongue-in-cheek line thrown around by players. But when I got into thinking about the concept Roundtable Relay, what if Ridley wasn't too big? Infant, but instead of shrinking him down, what if we made him bigger? Introducing Super Smash Bros. Destroyers. Solid title. Oh, is this based on, like, the Godzilla? Oh, that's cool! Alright, baseline concept, you've already sold me. These gigantic video game characters clashing for dominance in the style of a classic kaiju battle. Unlike Brothers, Destroyers is a 3D arena akin to a mix of Tekken and anime arena fighters, i.e. J-Stars. Mechanics based around J-Stars. Mechanics based around destroying buildings within the stage to build up meter. Unlike Smash Brothers, the goal is to reduce your opponent's percentage from 200% to 0. We got someone here. Section are in character. Hello there, newbie. My name's Nisamono, and welcome to Subaraya. Subaraya? You need to turn around the face and show me the 10 out of 10 acronym. It's northern Iceria near the coast of Japan until gigantic beasts called Destroyers emerged and began wreaking havoc. And now we got these people trying to fight them off. Sounds good. This is interesting. Just a vibes slide of like, okay, this is what we want the game to feel like. And honestly, I kind of like this. I wish more people did this. What will the roster be like? So far from what we're observing, there are 10 destroyers total, including one made by DDR and one with an unknown origin. Brothers, to be sort of reset with the roster harkening back to 64. It's also why Destroyers has no subtitle. I'm gonna drop the roster right now, but as well, there'll be one character from each series: Mario, Metroid, Kirby, Zelda, Sonic, Pokemon, Star Fox, and Metal Gear. Can I guess what these? I'm assuming Mario Brothers is Bowser, like Fury Bowser. Metroid, I mean, the concept's about Ridley, so definitely Ridley. Kirby, maybe the final boss of Star Allies? I'd love Star-Lord for Zelda. Sonic is probably an Eggman robot. Would love Giratina for Pokemon. Star Fox, maybe... Oh, I don't know Star Fox very well. Like, the gut reaction is like the Andro's head, but I know with this concept you can do a lot of different monsters. Maybe the thing that kidnaps Slippy on the desert planet? And then the Metal Gear is obviously Metal Gear. Well, we'll see if we're correct. Toss up some guesses in the chat as well, should you dare. Mechanic, Devastation. Destroyers feed on what has been quoted as Diva. Which forms from the fear caused by the rampages. Get some of this energy. So kind of Rampage-esque. Just destroy lots of things and become stronger. I like that. Buildings will be destroyed in the chaos. New buildings are also made by Tom Nook and his apprentices. Destroying buildings and dealing damage against Diva energy. And when filled... Oh, Perfect Chaos is a good guess. Here's eyes grow red as they're able to unleash their devastation, which is more of an install than a super move. Alright. So basic meter mechanic that you get from destruction. Fun. Very fun. Tom Nook and his apprentices are extremely helpful building shelters painted in scarlet for civilians. Unfortunately, this creates a hotspot for Diva energy due to the crowding of people. Evacuation comes to rescue the civilians, though, so destroyers have a limited amount of time to try and destroy them before their victims escape. Okay, so your resource management stuff has a timer on it before you... Like, if you don't pounce on it immediately, you're not going to be able to get it. Japan's fire station has just been colored and labeled. We've been thinking of repealing this law's major stories beyond using the materials. Alright, and then you've got color-coded buildings to tell you where your stuff is. Oh, you could just... Oh, man, this is such a solid concept, though. Like, taking these massive hub worlds that have become a staple of just Nintendo stuff and just letting you destroy them. That's really fun. Nintendo would never do it, but oh, that's so much fun. Maybe because of more limited knowledge base, but also because of the insane potential Source has. Like, take Delfino Plaza, our central city from the Sonic games. Cities that used to look and feel gigantic, but now from the perspective of a kaiju, smashing apart buildings. Is this Live and Learn? I'm gonna skip this. I don't want to worry about lyrics. Location in your head, and then smash it. Bam, new stage. What would make other good stage concepts? Any other ideas in chat? Like an Animal Crossing village sounds horrifying, but like that would also be so funny though. I feel like take Onet or really any of the Earthbound cities. New Pork City would actually be a solid stage. There's a lot of things you can do here. Roster reveal time. Now, I don't want them to be emphasized. I just wanted them to be picked based on what the core concept of the roster is. Like, I really feel like Smash Bros. Reboot needs to figure out what it wants to do with the gameplay first, and then pick a roster that best benefits whatever that gameplay direction will be. And it sounds like this is a very solid direction. Forewarning, I have no Canadian expert and I'm lacking the knowledge department. Some of these direct descriptions will be bare bones. I don't really know some of the characters suggested. That's fine, that's fine. One house level for... That's interesting. Oh yeah, like, take this same kind of gameplay setup, but also shrink it down? So like you're a kaiju, but in a Pikmin sense, where a kaiju is about the size of a dog? That's very interesting. We got Bowser, because of course we got Bowser. Very obvious choice for something like this. Furry Bowser is his devastation ability. Like it. Oh, acts more as a zoner as well. There's lots of fire. I like that, I like that. We got Ridley. Funnily enough, while he's too big for Smash Brothers, he's arguably too small here. That's hilariously quite true. Make him like the Rodon or Mothra of this game. Oh, that... I didn't even consider Zero Two, which is really weird for me. Oh, God, I want this game so bad now. You have sold me. You have absolutely sold me. Ganon? Okay, okay. Chain blades, focus on spacing like a swordy. Devastation sees him transform into Calamity Ganon. Alright, cool. Oh! Also, this is also very much pandering to my tastes. Love Sonic Heroes. That's also a very solid pick, though. Like, you have to completely rework how you consider what a roster will be for these kind of kaiju-esque games. Oh, this is really fun to think about. Groudon! Okay. Get more of like a heavyweight tank character into the mix. I like it, I like it. Andros, okay, okay. It's a Nintendo game, we've got to have a hand boss in some way. Metal Gear, because of course. And for the original fighters, we've got Sakura and TDS. Main protagonist, Shoto intro of Smash Bros. Okay, so the initial character to actually play the game through. Like a Pacific Rim mech. Oh my god, it's a Rob! Oh, that's so good, though! Oh, that's such a fun way of having an original character, but also still tying it to Nintendo. Oh, I love that! Lord, mech and its pilot, despite what it seems, another pretty... Another originally top agent DDR says she's attacked by and killed in an attempt to save her medical teams. Alright, so she's like an actual kind of android mech kind of deal. The counter that destroys the original version was destroyed by Redacted, and its machinery merged with Sakura in an attempt to save her. Through this, it has gained consciousness and a desire to protect the people of Super. This is so fun! And that's all the destroyers we've detected. What do you mean I said 10? Don't be silly. We are not privy to whatever this is. Fun! Keeping it a secret. Think you could get rid of me so... What the hell? It's like a fusion. It looks like Majora's Eye. Bit of its color scheme. For fuck's sake! Oh, that's fun. Callback in such a great way. The greatest challenge DDR has faced yet. A boss character unlocked after completing every character's arcade mode, and is an all-rounder, but not via honest gameplay or good fundamentals, but through sheer variety of tricks and jank. Love it! Sense just picture some sort of attack initiative memory. Oh, you're awake. Start the facility. Just about any good fighting game needs an arcade mode, as its way for allowing for offline play, not to mention due to the smaller roster, more time can be spent into giving each individual character their own ending. That is one of the main benefits of having a smaller roster. You can actually do more stuff with it. Also have a story mode. Good. Arcade modes will be effectively see the player run a gauntlet of about 5 fights with 1 minigame to achieve an ending cinematic and also an extra art piece poster from the game. Currently, Skyscraper Showdown is the minigame. They're reminiscent of Street Fighter's vehicle fighting minigame. This time, the attempt is to destroy a skyscraper. Okay. On death of Fake Bowser's story, he sends the character unlocked through completing the story. He has the most wacky arcade run where he fights every character, including himself. Alright. Player in the story mode will be the main character in a similar vein to the Fire Emblem games where you serve as the strategist. You come up with an avatar and play as the new pilot of the TDS who has stepped in to assist Sakura with defending Subaru City. Unfortunately, many of your memories have been stolen from you by Nisimono, and as such you are not only fight to protect the city, but also to rediscover yourself and build a bond with Sakura. I like this. This is a nice kaiju storyline. There's no complexity, it's just kind of, okay, destroy the threats, but that's really all you need for a kaiju storyline. Heavier story moments just aren't the focus. It's similar to modes like World of Light or Street Fighter 6, where you get to wander around the city and interact with locals, but when it comes to time to fight, you get ready up in TDS and battle against opponents, alongside some cinematics where some shit goes down. The story mode is entirely played as Sakura and TDS, and there's no strict order in which to fight the destroyers except for Fake Bowser, who serves as the final boss. In the end, Fake Bowser overpowers the TDS and tries to take over Sakura, but thanks to the bonds you made, the two of you are able to overcome and vanquish Fake Bowser, closing the extra-dimensional portal he came from for good. Lovely. Ah, look at this art! Oh, that's so good, though! Love it. Final up, I really hope you enjoyed this idea as it evolved from a simple premise to something with hints of story and lore of its own. Sorry for making only 40 slides, but I really hope it's well loved by all who read it. Thank you for reading. That was so good, though! Like, obviously, it's not the deepest idea we've covered here, but it's a super solid concept. Like, it's just, okay, let's try to make a kaiju Nintendo game, but counterpoint, it's making a kaiju Nintendo game. And that's just a really fun concept. It immediately sparks the imagination of, okay, but what else could be here? You take, like, Grima from Fire Emblem Awakening. You could take up any of the Pikmin bosses and scale them up. You could make an Animal Crossing villager build a mech of their own. Exactly, it makes you want to think of concepts for it, and I think that's the biggest compliment you can give it. It's just, it's fun! Porky's mech, exactly, or Gygus itself! SimCity, oh yeah, and the stages too, like... But it's the biggest reason why, unfortunately, I think this wouldn't happen, because I don't think Nintendo would allow for their beloved worlds to be destroyed. But oh my god, the ability to just interact with those worlds in this completely different format. Like, just battle across Hyrule Castle. Just, oh, it'd be so good. It would be so good. 10 out of 10 idea, Tort. Thank you for sharing. That was amazing. Alright, let's move this over. Very strong. Oh, I forgot to open the covered submissions document. Let me grab that real quick and move it onto my other screen. There we go. Okay. Unrelated, but I'm gonna use that because I keep a Pokemon cord on the corner of my TV screen, so I'm completely blocking out my face. That's fine. I understand. Alright, who was the other one that wanted to have their idea featured next? I apologize, I can't quite remember. Stuff red. Rancho, okay. Pop back down to the bottom. It is not... Rancho, your name wouldn't happen to be under Ranshi, would you? If I don't get initial confirmation, I'm just gonna jump to this anyway. Ranshi? Okay, good, perfect. Big ass Toad as a character joins the roster. But like, exactly! You can do so much with that! Is there any music? No, that's fine. Alright. Next up. Oh, this is hard to see. Alright, 1 second. Let me get my stuff set up again. Just want a character named Big Ass Toad. So, not an actual, like, Mario Toad, but just a big frog? Or is it both? Regardless. Smash Brothers Redux. Not video SE analyzing the Super Smash Brothers series. Don't worry, I can work with this. But if you could change it to white, that would be very, very helpful. Both? I agree. Both is good in that. Right. Also, super solid artwork here. Like, obviously just sketch, but it looks good. I like. Part 1. What is Smash? Going a bit back to GRC's initial questions. It's a platform fighter. Just as Mario is a platform and Street Fighter is a fighting game, Smash's core is in its creation of a new genre, the platform fighter. Oh, I'm going to remember to share the link really quick. Let me get Street Fighter asking for whitewashing. I'm sorry, it's just too hard to see. I can't see myself in this document. Oh, the horror. Just as Mario is a platformer, Street Fighter is a fighting game, Smash's core is in its creation of a new genre, the platform fighter. Smash was originally called Dragon King, a game about abstract polygonal fighters before Nintendo All-Stars. Know what that means? Its core lies in platform fighting, not Nintendo dudes crossing over. This kind of gameplay is something you can't get from anywhere else. It's not a spin-off, or a gacha, or a movie. Platform fighting is what makes Smash, well, Smash. And so, why reset everything that made Smash what it is? Did Mario throw away his platformer genes after the past 35 years? You might say, hey, Mario did switch games. He turned 3D. But this isn't quite the case. That was a result in a boom of technology, one we might never see again. On the other hand, as video games grew, we found that 2D platformers have a place alongside the collectathons born from the 90s. Now we're in 2024, where new genres are hardly invented as much as they are modernized. Persona 5 modernized RPGs, Doom 2016 modernized the FPS genre, all without ditching what made their gameplay appealing to begin with. While these games were leaked from their predecessors, they retained and expanded on what worked rather than slicing things up. So of course, I don't believe Smash needs a hard reboot, at least not in the all-or-nothing lens we see things through. Its gameplay is already fantastic at its core, carving its own genre and redefining what a fighting game could be. We're used to many Nintendo franchises undergoing drastic changes, such as transitions into 3D, but if the state of F-Zero is anything to go by, that mentality isn't always going to be healthy. Simply put, Smash is already in a strong spot. It has all the foundation you need to keep up with an ever-growing industry. What Smash really needs is a Redux. It needs a new style, a modernized approach to the formula. And to understand how to get there, we need to understand Smash's appeal. So what does make it appealing? I like this intro. The characters. No matter how appealing a fighting game is mechanically, it's always going to come down to who you can play as. I'm here to argue that it's not about who you put in, but how they contribute to the game's style. I find that my favorite fighting games, Guilty Gear and Tekken, simply have characters, music, and aesthetics that make me want to sit down and get good at them. I would agree with this. For Smash, its inherent appeal is its crossover aspect. The idea of smashing your favorite toys from across gaming together is a dreamlike scenario that reverts a man back into a boy. Nintendo was always going to be the best at this, because they have the best IPs in the industry. Why does the magic of the platform fighter feel so at home with a Nintendo crossover? Because Mario, Link, DK, Kirby, all of these characters embody that gaming magic. Oh, don't worry about it, Rancho. I've gotten used to it. I can narrate this. I would like to argue, however, that this should not be limited to Nintendo. To ditch the importance that Sonic and Snake had on adding to the magic of Smash is to regress on what Smash's appeal is. You want to play as your favorite characters, but moreover, you want to see characters that you resonate with and look cool clash where they otherwise never would have. Nintendo or not, that is what it means to have a lovable roster. So why am I rambling about the roster when the point of a new game is essentially to not be about the roster? Because the roster is the appeal, and the appeal is what makes you want to buy the game. The characters will always embody what makes your game appealing, what makes your vision strong. Where Smash Ultimate failed in it is its indecisive roster, seeking to appeal to everyone without honing in on a solid gameplay vision. I could not narrow down what Smash Ultimate's true vision is, beyond being a game that has 80 plus characters and basic platform fighter elements. The problem for me then is that it's not that Smash is limited by its genre. It's not even that third parties and ambition limited its cohesion. It's that to have cohesion, you need to hone in on your appeal. Smash 64's blocky charm, Melee's elevation of what came before, Brawl's overly ambitious edge, these are the things that Smash kinda lost ever since the Wii U and 3DS era more or less sanitized the series. As fun and creative as a Nintendo history theme is, limiting myself to that appeal would be limiting how impactful Smash could be. You know what? I think I agree with this. I think it's just true. The Wii U, 3DS, and Ultimates didn't really have that same kind of identity that the prior games had. Kinda just felt like a very safe style, as the roster grew too big to really be ambitious with it at all. See you, Grimlock, thanks for stopping by. Smash is not flawed in its genre, its character selection, or its ongoing expansion from game to game. What is flawed is its limited scope in mechanical innovation and its recent scattershot direction. Rather than reconstructing what wasn't broken, I want a new Smash that builds on the inherent genius of the platformer fighting game with the appeal of a gaming crossover. And I guess I'll do my best to explain what that could look like. Part 2, the Fighter's Core. What do you remember about Smash? Probably the PvP. I mean, it's a fighting game, right? You remember fighting your friends, CPUs, or people in tournaments. Personally, I have fond memories of playing Adventure Mode in Subspace with my brother, collecting all the trophies, and finally unlocking the stages and characters that I had wanted since buying the game. Back in the day, I remember sitting 2 controllers down and making the characters talk to each other. Because of course I did. What else was I going to do on a weekend? Let's branch from the casual perspective for a moment. What do you remember about Smash as a fighting game? You might think of the special moves, Captain Falcon's Punch, Fox's Shine, Kirby's Inhale, all moves with diverse application and flashy charm. You might think of the stories that spawned from legendary players, using non-conventional characters like Jigglypuff and Yoshi in a world of Falcos and Marths. As a fighting game, Smash relishes in these iconic moments, and as a crossover, there's no joy greater than seeing your favorite character do well. Love Amsa. Amsa's such a great player. Over time, characters lost some identity. Marth's Tipper, Peach's Float, Zelda's Swamp mechanic turned into Pit's, Neutral Air, Mega Man's weird forward smash Shulk's gimmick. Smash characters became gimmicks. I wouldn't call getting hit until I become a character a strong archetype, but apparently Lucario disagrees with me. In the same vein, little has really been done with Smash's unique appeal outside of playing as the characters. Now, arguably, these points are null. Every character plays differently, and all you technically need is the characters existing in the same space, right? Wrong. You might see a Metroid fan not like Samus, because despite being robotically similar in appearance, you don't feel that core that makes her fun. You might see someone say that Banjo is boring and annoying despite his animations embodying the baseline of his character. Why? Because they're just not very memorable within the game that they're playable in. That core is being embodied in surface-level references slapped into a moveset template to appeal to fandoms, rather than adapting that character's energy into the genre that we came here for. This is an interesting take. I don't know if I quite agree or disagree. I think it changes from character to character, honestly. I do think I agree with a lot of this, if only because the roster got bigger and bigger and bigger and it became harder to create such core, character identities. Because naturally, a lot of the characters share a bit of their identities with each other. I'd have to think about this, honestly. But I like the questions that you are asking in my head right now. I appreciate that. Alright, what makes a character memorable? Let's have a look at some of my favorite Smash Ultimate designs, and why I think they work. We got the Fast Faller, Blast and Reflector complement fast-paced movement, quick but counterable normals. We've got Peach, who can float in place, Tournament complements basic movement, normals chain to each other while being strong on their own. Got the Inkling's resource management with the Ink. Ink makes characters take more damage, low Ink means less moves to pull from. We've got Roy's Hilt Sweet Spots, Pokemon Trainer swapping characters, Hero's 21 spell options, Snake's Diver's Armory, Electric Recoil, Heavyweight. What do you notice about the more memorable characters from Melee, Brawl, and Ultimate? And how does this apply to the characters I showcased? Think how Fox's Fall Speed, Peach's Float, or Snake's Arsenal are balanced around their playstyle to make for fun and engaging dynamics. Designing a character around their one thing is not a good idea. We've seen how one-dimensional that makes a character like Little Mac. But designing their movesets around what makes them appealing, and then making moves which add to that appeal, goes a long way in making the character memorable and fun. Did Mario Wonder try to condense everything Mario, Peach, or Yoshi could do into one convoluted whole? Or did it expand on their simple cores for the purpose of enjoyable platform mechanics? So we can break down Smash mechanics. There's an emphasis on combat via normals mixed with specials, and this is consolidated by its movement system, which is uniquely satisfying. The best design providers would be to make their moveset stand out. Make their movement stand out, rather. Make properties unique, and make their special synergize with their movement. Start with how you imagine that character fighting, then add on to what makes them stand out mechanically. DK can be good at grabbing and close quarters encounters, making him a grappler. Make his special moves enhance that, while providing unique gameplay interactions. Sonic can be great at running and playing ahead of the opponent, making him a rushdown. Make his attacks committal and fast-paced to complement that dynamic. Characters that will be favored for a fighting game are going to be those which incentivize aggression and close combat. However, characters that break tradition break tradition, ugh, that was English, such as Jigglypuff are even more valuable for a game such as Smash compared to a traditional fighter. While the majority of characters will be rushdown-centric, there will be a number of characters that appeal to a different crowd, allowing Smash to appeal to anyone without sacrificing depth. Guilty Gear Strive characters stand out to casuals like me because I can identify each of their appeals, personality-wise and mechanically, within the game system, not because they have convoluted lore-based movesets. The diversity comes not from convoluted control schemes, but breaks in how the character uses the system to their advantage. Re-implementing veterans into a PvP-based fighter with platformer elements means taking into consideration what makes the game appealing. To maximize the game's appeal as a movement-based fighter, aggression-centric characters that take advantage of said movement will typically be favored. However, there's a ton of value in a Jigglypuff, which breaks the game's established system in a simple but surprising way. As long as they still feel like a part of one game's vision, it works itself out. I seek to make characters stand out not in their game-breaking gimmicks, but how they tweak the combat mechanics to be enjoyable within the game they've been adapted into. In this game, it will be a game about close combat and kinetic movement. So far, I'm loving this. Like, we haven't gotten to the actual concept yet, but we're going really heavy in the why for what this concept's going to present, which I think is so valuable in understanding where somebody's coming from. What makes a game memorable? It's the world. Without a world, where we'll be living. Smash has had a decently large problem ever since Smash 4 ditched the solo campaign. There's no hub for the game's narrative. What narrative? Isn't this a platform fighter? Before you accuse me of being an RPG guy, a narrative doesn't have to be a text-based story. It's the theming that brings the characters together, the glue that binds everything from aesthetics to our memories of the universe. How does a fighting game like Smash lean into this? That's the key. It's not just a fighting game, it's a platform fighting game. While World of Light attempted to fill the adventure void, it mistook the core principles of the mode's concept. Level design is what turns a game like this from a glorified PvP match to an all-timer experience. For a platformer, especially one with this rich movement system, it's borderline essential to have a campaign that tests the player with strong levels and even stronger bosses. Even with the most fun playable characters and well-designed levels, it's the boss challenges that really hammer memories home. Any good game knows how to make a boss for the player to remember, and Smash is no exception. Master Hand, Giga Bowser, and Taboo create an identity for each major Smash game. While having great bosses and mobs might seem small to a PvP-based game, Smash's platformer soul makes these aspects essential. So where am I going with this? Stages are an aspect of Smash that are too often neglected in ultimate follow-up pitches. Can I blame them? Hell no. Designing an outline for a character is hard enough. Now try designing levels and stages for a whole cast. That's certainly not territory I'm willing to step into yet. But that doesn't mean they're not important. What makes Smash a platform fighter above a traditional one is not just the movement system, but the ability to create dynamic stages in and out of the PvP. Once strong system mechanics are in place, it's important for them to not just complement the character's movement, but loop into fun levels for any kind of player to experience. That includes a single-player campaign, which makes use of the character's movement and challenges their combat abilities with strong bosses. This is an opportunity uniquely presented to Smash, so why not take advantage of it to make the game stand out? What makes this world memorable? At the core, it's the dreamlike magic of these characters coming together. This is why Smash is so powerful as a brand, even more so than as a fighter or a platformer. The fighting and platforming are aspects that need to complement each other, not fight for dominance. To fully capitalize on this, though, you would need a gameplay loop that takes advantage of both. A good blueprint is Ultimate's Spirits. Spirits are the main attraction to the single-player campaign, and can be equipped into a party for gameplay usage. The caveat with this was that Spirits have no use competitively. They neglect the fighting side of Smash. as they're too overpowered for your average match. Since their powers are so specific, with level design being non-existent, they also neglect the platforming side of Smash. Thus, spirits feel like a niche collectible, with little purpose beyond slapping them onto your amiibo. And then we have amiibo. Put your toys to life in a Nintendo console. This was a great idea, with the slight caveat that it's limited to fighters in-game, and remains too overpowered to be viable in a competitive setting. There is value in the casual aspect, the imagery of your favorite fighters coming to life, but without a gameplay application that feeds into the core game, they're just add-ons. Of course, I'm not saying they should have made purchasable fighters into core gameplay features. I'm just saying there's a way to make the core appeal of Smash as a brand while keeping it true to the gameplay loop. This is why I respect the hell out of trophies. While being nothing more than a collectible, their aesthetic, lore, and implementation into the game's modes were enough to make them special. With so much gaming history at Smash's disposal, it's not surprising that these were fun to collect and view. Trophies coming back should be a no-brainer. But how would this apply to the gameplay loop? While I've tried to save my vision for actual mechanics for Part 4, I think assists would be a great way to merge the worlds for a new game. They can be simple, single-move attacks, extending combos, or non-intrusively adding to the field, but beyond that, they can be represented via trophies, making there a gameplay incentive to collect them. Can't argue for the logistics of how many assist trophies could exist. That depends on the modeling, dev time, and animations. But if at least most trophies in the game had an assist purpose, something which could be used within Adventure and Smash, then I reckon things would feel a lot more alive in the game's world. Smash is a platformer just as it's a fighter. Much of our memories and attachment to it come from its slew of memorabilia and ways to interact with its world. If I am up to the mechanical depth of the movement, I must also consider the casual perspective. How many levels, enemies, and collectibles would be needed to properly flesh out what the game is trying to achieve? Rather than force representation via superficial means, it's the story campaign and memorabilia's job to represent the crossover brand that is Smash. I am loving this so far. Like, we've only barely touched upon gameplay, but you read assists with this logic and you're just nodding along like, yeah, of course we need assists for this reason. Makes perfect sense. Okay, the actual game. Duke was so reading, he stayed composed while Korean music was playing in the back. Unironically, though, yeah. It captured my attention. I need some water, though. This is like some proper narration here. Also, for some reason, I don't know if anybody else is dealing with this issue right now, but for some reason, YouTube is having such a hard time loading anything today. Maybe it's the geomagnetic storm that's going on right now. I did not choose to replay Fire Emblem Fates. YouTube, what are you doing? You're drunk. Go home. I'm just going to reload this playlist. 1 second. Sorry. Technical difficulties. You know, in its defense, Fire Emblem Fates did have a pretty... And it's... Bro! There we go. Jesus. My goodness. Okay, new mechanics. Parrying. Shield, and then press A to parry. Depending on the power of the attack, the parry will stagger an opponent. Stronger attacks, i.e. smash attacks, have tighter parrying windows, but cause a longer stagger when parried. Universal parry windows will get a bit tighter at higher percent. Many characters have dedicated attacks that can trigger a parry. Not every character in a character's moveset is parryable, and some characters have more unparryable attacks than others. Projectile reflecting are a universal application for parrying, although some character parry attacks cannot reflect projectiles. Interesting. Okay. Very solid. Like, okay, here's a new mechanic. Lay it out perfectly. And you know what? I feel like this would work even in the baseline game we've got right now. This sounds fun. Momentum mechanic. Parrying or timing certain attacks correctly will give you momentum, meaning the character will gain speed and damage potential for a proportionate time to the attack used. This will be expended if a move is used more than once in a row, or once a special or smash attack is used. The window for this becomes stricter at higher percent. Basically, if the character times his attack correctly against the opponent, they will give a chance to make use of the mechanic for a short period of time. This will cancel out if a move is spammed or a certain amount of idle time is spent. At higher percent, the window for idle time spent becomes stricter. I like this a lot! It's a great way of encouraging, like, higher tier play without locking it away from casual play. Because obviously the people that can exploit this are going to be better at the game. But if you're playing this on a casual level, you won't really notice if this isn't becoming a thing, unless you get your ass handed to you by a more competitive player. It's good. Air grabs. When a short range, opponents are grabbable in the air. This is commonly used to extend combos or send characters into a tumble state. Like this as well. Air smashes! Smash attacks can be triggered in the air. The timing window is much stricter than a regular smash attack and is commonly used to end combos. Smash attack range is also reduced in the air, and missing while landing leaves the characters vulnerable for a long time. And then we've got air taunting. Love this. Like, completely unironically, this is a great way of showcasing more of a character's personality. Dashes. By tapping the control stick forward or backward, a character will skid in a direction. This is basically a clearer version of initial dashes from previous games. They're now faster and have clearer animations. Most dashes have noticeable end lag, so they are not too spammable. It's possible to time a dash in the air, but will put the character into special fall, and there's a control option to map initial dashes and runs to separate buttons rather than needing to tap the D-pad twice. Interesting. Alright. Dodge attacks. Every character can now activate an air dodge or spot dodge with an attack. Similar to SSBU Terry, and the type of attack varies for each character. These also get much weaker when spammed without hitting an opponent. Rolling is faster, but now has a stricter startup and intangibility window. Shielding doesn't gradually pop anymore, but can be broken if a character has a special attack which overrides the shield's threshold, like Bowser's Forward Smash or uses grab. Okay. And hitting someone's shield will nudge them back, although they will remain stationary at the ledge. Interesting. So you don't get punished as much for holding shield, but you lose stage control, and we're designing more specific shield breaks, I think, if I'm understanding this correctly. More text to put characters into a tumble state, which enables more combos. Everything is techable, but the timing window is stricter. And we have the assists. Large roster is available to be summoned as an assist. When an assist is summoned, it will be brought to life from its trophy state. That's fun! Oh, that's cute. I like that. Followed by a move with a flash animation to help the player character with a variety of situations. Neutral, combo extending, interrupting a point's attack, etc. Up to 2 assists can be chosen for each match. Each one has an action meter with a cooldown depending on how good the move is. If an assist gets hit twice, it will be knocked back into its trophy state, and up to 2 assists can be equipped for levels and bosses in the main campaign. Alright, down to the modes. There's a lot here that might seem ambitious for an already ambitious fighting game. Ideally, all of these things would combine strong and well-divided staff with replayability and style over size. While PvP is still the focus of the game, I would want all of these modes to be available in some capacity, even if it means shortening or simplifying them to accommodate for everything. 12 to 13 worlds in total for an adventure mode. Every world is structured by 2 levels, a boss battle, and some out-of-the-way bonus game. Aesthetically similar to toy boxes, cool. And they don't need to be tackled in a set order. I like that. Certain progression thresholds need to be reached to activate key events. Okay, I like that. Cutscenes or story are also part of the world towards structure. Specified character interactions on the world map. Love that. The interactions change depending on what character you're playing as. World map is similar to platformers such as 2D Mario. Like a less convoluted World of Light. where each region is selectable. Alright. Character selection is limited on your first playthrough, but post-campaign you get a new game plus. Like it. And characters are in set parties in the main story similar to Subspace. Cool! You're selling me. First level overall will establish a theme. Every level has its share of mobs and items, platforms and such. Bonus games are short courses that take advantage of the kind of character you're playing as. Speed characters play race to the finish, heavier characters might fight in an arena, etc. And rarer bonus games have nothing to do with platform fighting, i.e. the credits gained in classic mode. Cool! I'd love to see a Smash Bros. Game that had a little bit more fun with just these kind of mini-games. I think there's a simple joy between just having all these different characters just do random wacky things together. We've got two types of bosses, a monster boss or a player boss. Monsters have set patterns and large hitboxes, while player bosses have more complex behaviors and need to be launched. Oh, okay. So comparing a Gallium to, say, like the Sephiroth event, where you can unlock him early. Note, I won't want to understate the importance of fun levels. Boss design would be the main priority of the game's single player. Strong boss design can really make or break a campaign, especially when it's about movement and fighting. I would 100% agree with this. Cutscenes, many in-game engine cutscenes are across the game. The majority of scenes are portrait-style events that have the characters interact with each other. Okay, so Fire Emblem dialogue along with actual in-engine cutscenes. I like it. Alright, we still have trophies, of course. Bosses and mobs are also represented as trophies. Got a couple of pages of lore for the core and assist trophies. Love that. It's a small thing, but it really makes you feel like this is a massive celebration of gaming history when you actually have that history displayed in front of you. When a fighter is KO'd in an adventure, they revert to their core trophy. Stocks are more clearly trophy spirits, basically the core of the trophy that allows them to become a fighter. This is also represented in PvP. Anytime a character respawns, they're briefly shown to be a trophy that gets brought back to life when the player inputs any button. Assists always revert to the trophy when beaten. The bosses and mobs take a little extra effort. Okay, trophies are the character spirit. I like that. Trophies are scattered across adventure and can be obtained through other modes as well. Core trophies are actually summonable in battle. The CPU will do a few moves and leave. Special core trophies will use their neutral special instead. Kirby can... Oh, so the core trophies are the actual characters. Okay. So you select another character for your party. Summoning the core trophy will just cause you to switch to them. Boss trophies are gained once you beat a boss. And you can summon them as assists in casual Smash matches. Getting a high score against every boss will net you a playable... That's fun! A lot of extra work, but that's so fun. There's a simple joy to getting to play as a boss. Crossover trophies. These are gained when multiple fighters' classic modes are cleared. There's Samus, Captain Falcon, and Fox's classic mode for the Bounty Hunter trophy. Guys are... Oh, that's actually really fun, though. And Smash has barely done this. They're making, like, trophies with multiple characters simultaneously. So what, well, at least that's how I'm interpreting this. Like, okay, this is a trophy where Samus, Captain Falcon, Fox are simultaneously there, either completing a bounty or just posing together. That's really fun. It's super simple, but, like, that's genuinely adorable. I love that. Classic, every character has their own path. Reusing boss and other main campaign assets, but contextual beginning and ending cutscenes are unique to each character. Alright, now rewards depend on player execution. Alright. Low reward gives you a poster, medium reward gives you a character theme song, and high reward gives an icon trophy. All-star fight every character in the gauntlet, of course. Just unlock actual proper things for once. I like this. Getting a high rank in certain levels as certain characters will net you with their special trophy. The trophy depicted has them using their special move, the description of their powers. Series medleys and character themes can be played on the main menu. You can also set the music to whatever you want in the trophy compendium. Posters and series cosmetics can be laid out in the compendium or added to parts of the menu. Getting everything related to a fighter's history will give them a special flair on the character select screen. I know these seem like small things to many players, but I've always been more of a single-player Smash Bros. Player, and this just seems like the most fun Smash Bros. Game to me. Like, just going through all these things and unlocking all these collectibles, like, this was made for me, and I really appreciate that. Party, main modes for trophies. Every mode can be played for up to 4 players. Power scale. Pit your favorite characters against each other in a turn-based party game. Every trophy has a set of skills and rank up as the game goes along. Interesting. Trophies take turns going around themed, procedurally generated boards, each with their own set of challenges. Each player can choose up to 2 trophies for their base party and collect others throughout the board. The goal is to get your party as strong as possible to defeat other players' parties and whatever other obstacles come in your way. This can go on endlessly or at once. Whoever Anonymous Wombat is, calm down. It's a little hard to read. Meta for this isn't meant to be balanced. Many characters have proportional strengths to the lore. However, support characters still have use as backups to the stronger characters. Interesting. I've never really seen someone try to revisit kind of the ideas behind Smash Run, but this does sound like a more enjoyable interpretation of it. Just having the ability to be able to go around themed boards. Customization. The main way to customize your trophy is to use other trophies on them. Sacrificing other trophies can slightly alter the stats and skills of your main trophy in power scale mode. Whoa! We just bolded the text. Okay, where was I? Player can choose up 2 trophies. Nope. Bit further down. You can customize trophies by using other trophies on them. Basically sacrificing them to alter the stats and skills of your main trophy in power scale mode. It's also true for Amiibo universally, although custom Amiibo abilities are not as diverse as spirits in SSBU. Trophies start with a transparent 0 stars next to them and can be upgraded from bronze to gold stars. This isn't meant to indicate rarity or quality, only other custom ranking. And lastly, you can use coins or sacrifice trophy buffs to get an advantage at the start of power scale mode. Cool. We have Assist Ride. Run through procedurally generated maps as a fighter paired with an assist. Just little kind of event match styled run through this map and do this thing. I like it. Got an Amiibo Arena. Pit the AI against each other in a tournament, betting against others for who will win. Based on the insane success of Alpharad's Amiibo series, this is a no-brainer. I like it. I like it a lot. Challenge the winner as a boss. However, the tournament winner will be powered up by the amount of opponents they defeated and still be... Oh, that's fun! Kind of a condensed version of training up your Amiibos. And like, okay, how many enemies can your Amiibo beat? And then can you beat the monster that they've become? That's very fun. Coins are currency. They can be used for power-ups, by revives, by boosts, and all that good jazz. And now we finally get to the roster. What does a big roster actually mean? Numbers, numbers, numbers. At least that's what Ultimate wants you to think. In order to move away from this mentality, we need to estimate what makes a roster size what it is. For my ideal Smash sequel, roster is a mix of appeal and gameplay. That means I want a mix of characters that I want to see and characters that need to be here. Sure, I could ditch Captain Falcon and Fox for characters that are more relevant, but that would be ditching the heart of the series. I could ditch Sonic because he's not a Nintendo character and already has speed-based counterparts, but it would simply turn me off from how impactful Smash could be. This goes into archetype overlap, and I'm here to say, for a platform fighter, especially one like Smash, it's fine. In fact, I'd rather have a Smash offer multiple characters of the same archetype than force players to choose one. The platform fighter genre is very liberating, and a Nintendo All-Star crossover already assumes you'll get some overlap. Otherwise, say goodbye to Kirby because Mario is already the basic all-rounder. Say goodbye to Bowser, because DK is already the heavyweight grappler. I'm not saying it's bad to curate a roster based on archetype overlap. I deprioritize many characters based on how little they added to the whole. What I am saying is that a concept such as Smash can't limit itself to that mentality, as its appeal is in its variety and simplicity. There is value in having multiple options for rushdowns, heavyweights, and all-rounders in a game that fundamentally rewards those kind of characters. So the question, of course, becomes, how do you balance making an entire fighting game with the amount of characters you want to put in it? Naturally, you want to put in as many as you can to flesh out your vision, even if some can't make the cut due to deadlines or other external factors. I would want a new game to have all the time to put all the characters that I have listed, and that vision would require 36 to 39 characters in total. Does this mean that this game would hypothetically need to have 36 to 39 characters to be impressive? Not really, it just means that the maximum I would want to achieve with this concept. The point is, roster size is what you make of it. I didn't limit myself to 20 to 30 characters out of a vague need to reset the series, nor did I extend it to 40 to 50 out of a vague need to represent every character in video game history. Rather, I looked over my vision for the series and concluded that the amount of characters will be optimal number to properly flesh the game out. It allows for every major character I want to be represented, and more importantly, exciting gameplay mechanics to be showcased. I would push back a little bit on the 2030 here. It's less a need to reset the series, and more that to make a new gameplay format with all these changes like aerial smash attacks, and aerial taunts, and parry systems, it's a lot harder to do that when you're designing a larger roster. There's a reason that games like MOBAs and hero shooters, they have to start with a small roster first and then build off of it, because you have to nail down that core gameplay format before you can really start building off of it. And by the time you've done that, you've already spent years in development and need to get some kind of income from what you're doing. It's not necessarily a need to reset the series, it's that to make something new, you're kind of hard capped with how many characters you can make in the new formula, because until the formula exists, you can't be adding a diverse set of characters into it. Does that make any sense? Even with every redesign, I do believe a roster of this size is feasible. Many attacks and miscellaneous properties would still be referenced from previous games, and while most reboot ideas are trying to fully revert back to Smash 64, I'm trying to size it up around Melee and Brawl. Melee had upwards to 29 characters, while Brawl had 39, all while balancing an extremely strict schedule and a multitude of impactful new modes and mechanics. If Bandai Tendo, I've never heard that before, love it, doesn't hypothetically give a new Smash much better deadlines and staff, then I will already be disappointed in their management. If it so happens that this level of ambition would be too much for even a 5-year development cycle, then of course the roster would be cut down a bit. But this is a silly little Smash concept, so let's not get too ahead of ourselves there. Oh, and it's actual custom artwork. Oh, I love this. I love this so much. Alright, so who we got here? We got Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, Yoshi, DK, Dixie and Diddy, K. Rool, Link, Zelda, Ganondorf, Inkling, Samus, Ridley, Kirby, Meta Knight, no DDD, Pikachu, Cynthia. Cynthia's fun. Lucina and Celica are fascinating choices. Fox, Captain Falcon, Olimar, Isabelle. Oh, Noah and Mew. No. Noah and... what the hell is her name? The Xenoblade 3 characters. Palutena. Another one with Palutena but no pits. That's fascinating. Sonic. Shadow. Alright. Joker. Bayonetta. Oh, I don't know the characters well enough, but I think this is Yakuza guy. Is this Kiryu? Maybe. I have no idea who this is. Pac-Man and... this is either Mach Rider or Master Chief. And I think, based on where he's placed, it'd be Master Chief. Which is solid. Oh wait, hang on. Is this, Sekiro dude? Looks kind of like Sekiro dude. It's Kiryu? Okay, it is Kiryu. Alright. Oh, it's the Excitebite. Okay. And yes, that's Sekiro. Okay. Interesting choice for a Souls pick, but I like it. Before getting into the why the hell is X character here, I want to talk about actual gameplay. How I thought of adapting these characters into a new era of Smash. Of course, almost every veteran has been redesigned. In order to move the series forward, I had to go back and change things. The important thing is, I'm not focusing on how to properly represent every character's history. I attempted to break down what each fighter's core is, and how that could be applied to a modern, combat movement-based platform fighter. But while every character has been redesigned, I do not think of this as an arbitrary reset in the formula. My vision is an expansion of what worked, something that embodies the best of what these characters have to offer within Smash's foundation. Things such as animations and how the character feels to control are essential, but unfortunately we're within the confines of a Google Doc. I couldn't find a very creative way to portray these things, so you've got to make do with these. My streamlined movesets. I'll basically outline their main options and design philosophy to give a general idea of what I'm going for. I wouldn't want them to feel too fundamentally different to control from previous games, mostly a save on resources. In general, though, movement flow should be tied to diverse system mechanics, not every single character controlling differently. As for explanations of weirder character choices, a good rule of thumb is I probably thought they looked really cool, fun to play as, and fit within my vision. I mostly stuck with characters that I know rather than trying to vaguely appeal to a broader audience. And not every character was created equally. I know some series better than others. The first 5 characters I've listed here best demonstrate how I would balance simplicity and gameplay mechanics. The rest are there for you to judge, if you have time. For the first 5 characters, increase further details such as character choice explanations. Maybe skim this segment. I think I will skim the segment because I do want to get to other ideas, although I do want to at least see... I want to know what the cores of these characters are that you're choosing to design around, because that sounds interesting. Focus designs. Pikachu Electric Storage. Landing more than one unique attack with Pikachu will add to his electric bank indicated by his cheeks. The stored elixirs... Interesting! So you get leveled electric abilities that you can then spend on his electric attacks. So if you spam specials without proper electricity, it'll get a lot weaker, eventually hurting Pikachu. Pikachu is very fast and versatile, so it's not too hard to land hits, but it's easy to get carried away. Interesting! I genuinely like that. Like, it doesn't really fit how actual Pokemon stuff works, but it does fit kind of the anime aesthetic of just Pikachu gathering electricity and zapping his abilities. Also weirdly gets the stamina thing back from Brawl, but in a much more understandable way. One that doesn't ruin you for just having a preferred character. You just gotta make sure your little rodent is fully charged. I like that. Samus melee charge missile modes. Based for most of her attack animations or arm cannon normals, gauntlet mode easily have so stance change character for Samus. Charge mode adds melee mode, time with attacks to emit a follow-up energy shot. Shots can be used and charged independently of melee attacks via neutral special, but their main utility is for combo support. And missile mode causes explosions at the tip of her cannon, which turns into fast, less damaging projectiles at a range. Timing is not required, but it is tied to a resource management. The winning way to obtain missiles is via high damage KO, combos, and KOs. Well, that's fun. Kind of hearkening to how she gets missiles back in Metroid by actually having her get them back by killing people. I like that. Directional Taunt Special swaps her arm cannon modes. This can still be used while she's in an active animation. Special is Grapple Beam, has additional ledge movement properties. And Samus has a general heft to her. Falling fast with great mobility, has notable parry windows on her melee attacks. I like this. Dash and counter can be timed with the special shots. Sounds good, but also enjoy Speed Booster Side B, which doubles as a burst movement option and momentum tool, but that sounds a little overpowered. Shine Spark also sounds like a cooldown special, but I'm not sure how to balance that with the rest of her moveset as of typing this. Lastly, Morph Ball is an important part of Metroid, but it's a slow movement tool rather than a combat tool, so I doubt it has much relevance to the Smash side of things. These things were just bogged down in my main point, so I wanted to note that here instead. Okay. Bowser's normals have a fast startup and are great at breaking through defensive options, but overextend or have exploitable end lag. Hitting Bowser sends him a fraction of the distance of any other character, and he remains in hit stun for less time. While he can tank hits then counter them when the window is presented, he'll take a lot of hits on average. Bowser's much more susceptible to grabs than most characters. And when grabbed, he's taken by the tail, and becomes less resistant than you would expect when thrown. I like that, making him specifically weak to throws. That's hilarious. Side special is Whirling Fortress. He charges ahead with his shell. Top of the attack is invulnerable. Counterplays is timing to grab on a specific frame, but that's risky. And while the move is not cancelable, pressing the button again after a mid-range charge will have Bowser spin into a command grab. The special is Bowser Bomb, functionally the same as Ike's Ether from the previous games. I think that fits. Okay, why is it Lucina specifically? Very fast, easy to understand attacks, and good mobility. Her special is Thorn. A bow and arrow. Oh, she's got a bow. Okay, I can see that. Side special is Dancing Blade. She can be tied into her Gorger's Kogel. A lance. So we're giving her kind of a Byleth-esque multi-weapon kind of deal. You know, I don't hate that. I think it fits her personality. And she actually has a personality, so she can actually emote a bit more while she's using the weapons. Special takes a stance from being timed to a strike if it is a strong parry attack. When entities close when the sword is unsheathed, they will be hit and attack parry, but missing this window or using this move from a distance is punishing. And then Celica. Very fast, easy to control, but struggles to KO and gets launched easily. Spells are relegated to her specials, which can be charged for higher damage. Functionally the same as Robin's specials, although spells are balanced around to not being tied to a resource. For a few seconds after Celica is hit, a small amount of her percent is recoverable. She can recover this lost percentage by striking the opponent with her sword. The higher the damage output, the more she recovers. Interesting. I like this. Where are Martha? Oh, you can answer the question. Perfect. Lucina and Celica simply have way more options to play around with. Marth doesn't have Lucina's weapons, and Robin doesn't have Celica's versatility. Marth is in another draft of this roster, but I couldn't justify him here being beyond being iconic. As always, this is a bit of fun, so don't get sad and think these characters have vanished forever. In this case, English, goodness gracious. The dynamic gameplay of the girls takes priority, so please accept them. No, I'd absolutely agree with this. I do think that one of the biggest problems with Fire Emblem's current roster is that they're just picking the wrong characters. They always favor the kind of bland milquetoast protagonists. So I agree with these choices for characters that actually have a bit of personality. Longer character designs. I'm just curious about how long this is. Con roll, Kong swap, belly armor. Ridley gets rage. Love that. Cynthia archetypes. Lucario is Shoto-like. Garchomp with Bowser married Littleback. What a sell! My god. Don't worry, Ranshi. I just want to see what the cores are of these characters. I'm not going to read all of them. Tinkaton is Jigglypuff 2.0. For Tinkaton? Fun? Olimar, Pikmin Management. Yoshi's the Beginner Fighter. Mario is Jump Up Star. Luigi's Slippery Physics. Peach, Fox, and Falcon have minimal changes. Link's a video. Which video is this? Is this Mockrock? Yeah, it's Mockrock! I'm very fond of Mockrock's moveset designs for the Zelda characters that he's done. I really hope he does Zelda as well. Zelda, Zoning Magic, Kirby, Inhale, Mennonite, Death by 1,000 Paper Cuts. Anglin is Ink Management, Isabelle is Simple Dog. Oh, just beginner friendly. Okay, yeah. Noah and Neo is Ouroboros. Palutena is Heavenly Hell. That's one hell. Literally, one hell of a sell for Palutena. Sonic is Quick Step. Shadow is Chaos Control. Joker is Phantom Masquerade. Bayonetta is Witch Time. Kiryu is Feel the Heat. Arguing why there's so much... There is a lot of Sega in this, actually. You're right. Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice. Pac-Man and Excite Biker for the retro reps. Pac-Man is easy to control. Very intuitive. Excite Biker is a fast forward based on anti-airs and turbo speed. Alright. Neat. I like the ideas on display here. And I think this is just like everything we've just briefly skimmed past. I love this artwork so much. It's just cute. Okay, I'm gonna drop down to the post-character stuffage. Because I think you fully sold me on this. I do think that the roster is still a bit too large, but not to the point that it's outright impossible to make. This is just a game that's, were it made in this current state, would have a very long development cycle. But Ultimate sold well enough that it could afford to have a longer development cycle, so maybe it's possible. If there's anything 20 plus pages worth of basic character outline should tell you, it's that fighters mean a lot in a fighting game. I'm definitely not saying all these characters will be possible within a tight deadline, but as always, that depends on the resources and scheduling. So what was the overall goal of this roster? I want every character to have a clear reason to play them, and that can be broken down to 3 categories: archetypes, mechanics, and the cool factor. Putting every character into an archetype bubble wasn't on the agenda. It's what archetypes can mean for such a wide cast that matters. In the same way you have builds in an RPG, archetypes can be an important way to identify what character you want to commit to. As Smash has progressed, we've lost more and more of a grip of what an archetype even means. Is it a fighting game character, a swordie, a guy who has a meter comeback mechanic? In my opinion, the answer lies in the character's mechanics, how those mechanics complement their playstyle, and what the game is trying to do with them. The importance of archetypes in this roster is that it clearly presents who your favorites are, how to get better at them, and most of all, how they feel when put in the same space as other characters. And we've got the archetypes displayed here. Balanced, rushdown, power, zoning, and technical, with each character fitting where you would expect them to be. Freaking ticket time, I love that so much. The categorization is not to say, this is how the character should be played. In fact, it's the opposite. The fact that you can play these characters expressively enough to view them under a clear archetype is precisely the point of this entire Redux. You may have seen the infamous Smash Ultimate Archetype charts, one of which I've seen describe Diddy Kong as a trickster. Truly incredible stuff. That is exactly the kind of vague, scattershot appeal I'm trying to avoid. In order for every character to feel like themselves, they must have that complementary hook which draws you in and never lets go. My hope is that you can see how each character feels dynamic to play as, and how important a system that rewards fun, kinetic movement would be to that feeling. Since I wanted characters to feel at home in a combat setting, all-rounders, rushdowns, and heavyweights are the most common classes. This defines the game's appeal as an exciting combat-driven experience, while the single-player, or party-oriented content appeals to a more casual audience. Beyond anything else, I want a game with an appeal as strong as Smash to feel expressive and alive. I want characters to be exciting to play as, not excuses to get excited on Twitter before dropping the game a week later. Their appeal should be clear, and their mechanics should complement that appeal to create a memorable experience. Oh, these are the actual cores I was looking for. Mario Jumper. Yes! Okay, when I do a roundtable relay with Mario, this is the extent of my thoughts on the character too. I feel like Mario in Smash Brothers, if we're going to approach this like new future kind of deal, I feel like he should be the character that just makes you feel like platforming is fun, you know? Like every move well, not every move he has, but he should be the kind of character that you just kind of love playing around with just to see how he can traverse the stages, which he doesn't quite have right now in Smash Brothers. Long-winded way of saying I completely agree with you. Luigi slips around the stage and surprises with specials. Bowser tanks hits and dishes out harder ones back. DK is a grappler, takes them on the tour to the blast zone. Things are in control. I mean, I'm going to skip over this just because we have kind of covered this already. But I love the thought process on display here. I think this is a incredibly solid... I might even go so far as to say I think it's the best approach we've seen so far in this series as how to kind of make a best of both worlds in terms of what a Smash sequel could be. It doesn't lose its past appeal, doesn't alienate what people have loved beforehand, which I would argue even mine is guilty of, but still evolves all the characters in a way that you get that excitement of just, oh gosh, I can't wait to play as these characters again, see what else they can do. I really appreciate that. I think this is incredibly solid. Who are the assists? That is a fantastic question. This is obviously not everyone, just the ones that come to mind. Keeping in line with the game's ambition, this would ideally be upwards to 110 assists that are represented via stylized trophies. This will be balanced in a way to accommodate for actual development time, but I will just leave it to your imagination. So, wow, lots. I'm going to briefly just linger on these so people can read them, just because there are a lot. Pokemon Trainer... Chef, Paco, Peppy, Slippy. So it's basically all of the characters that aren't here that you would expect to still be present in a Smash Brothers game. Okay. Jax, Shovel Knight, Warrior, Sorcerer, Bomberman, Cuphead. Assists aren't here just to represent everyone, they're incredibly important from a casual and competitive perspective. For casuals, they provide an easy opportunity to counter aggression, which is especially important if I'm giving characters so much to work with mechanically. Maybe your friend doesn't like Donkey Kong, always tossing him around, so now he can counter him with a quick assist. Competitively, I would very much prefer for assists to be valuable. What I don't like about assist trophies from Brawl and Ultimate is how overbearing they are. Many of them are on screen for either too long, disrupting the entire flow of the match. Not to mention the sheer randomness of it all. There's no way of controlling who you're going to get. If assists could be competitively and casually a viable part of the game, I believe they would add more than final smashes. Even if you don't jive with the character fighter you like, you can always fall back on your favorite assist character. Maybe I'm a huge Mario fan. I absolutely hate playing Peach, but I've always got my Toad assist on deck to make sure I'm having a good time. When I said that some characters might be better off as assist, I meant it. It's an easy way to represent a wide number of series representatives that would otherwise feel very samey to include in the roster. It allows for more expression in less punchy combatants, such as Creative Mode Steve planting a creeper egg, or the unique mechanics of Nintendo's many quirky IPs. At the peak of this mentality stands my idea for the Pokemon Trainer assist. Starters have always been tricky to represent via fighters. They're all doing similar things for similar games across like 10 generations. But something I feel very few people consider is how little trainer representation we've gotten from Smash. I mean, Red isn't the only Pokemon trainer in the series' history, in the same way Erdrick isn't the only hero. But to represent every starter and trainer would be impossible with all their differences, right? Well, clearly wrong, because the Pokemon Trainer Assist covers every single fire, water, grass starter and their complementary protagonist in one character. In the match, you get a fire, water, and grass starter, all of which share a signature move of that type. If you take a stop with one of them on the front lines, they get EXP, eventually, depending on the stock number, evolving along with their signature attack. Since there's only one signature move of each type, every single starter can be represented. From there, it comes down to your preference in region design. The biggest amount of extra work comes from modeling and stylization, which I'll just have to presume is way easier than crafting an entire moveset for an endless amount of characters. Which is true. Like, it's still a ton, but like, that's feasible. That's doable. The same mentality applies to characters such as Falco. Where are Peppy and Slippy to support Fox? Right here. And each pilot has their own signature way of expressing themselves. Now, of course, this is all down to execution, including modeling and animations and stylization, but let's just assume the game would have the development time to nail those down. In my opinion, get this concept right, and you have a real money printer. It will never be on the level of seeing your favorite character get in as a fighter, sure, but it would go a long way in giving the game longevity, creativity, and memorabilia. I've got the campaign here as well. I think I'm just going to skim this. Kind of taking harkening from Melee's Break the Targets. Okay, kind of take rough inspiration from this, but try to stylize it more around character archetypes and attributes. So it's not character specific, this adventure mode, but it gives every character the ability to have levels more tailored around their strengths. I like this. And this means that different characters get various routes that best fit them. Link will get more puzzles. Faster characters will play through faster levels. Okay, I like this. I like this. I would naturally want every level and boss to be beatable by the wider cast, but designing everything under that umbrella limits what could potentially be done with the campaign. After the main campaign is beaten, the player can be allowed to select any level and or boss with whoever they want, with the caveat that some levels will not be as easy with that character. I like this! That's a nice way of doing it. Like, Subspace kind of did this in a few areas. Like, rather infamously, that one level outside of the halberd that Peach or Sheik can traverse pretty easily becomes nearly impossible with characters like Bowser and Ganondorf, which some might call a design flaw, but I actually think that's fine. I think it's better for certain levels to be more traversable by certain characters. It allows you to design gauntlets specifically for certain characters, which I think is more important in this kind of game. Alright, beat level, bring these rewards. Yes, please, I love these rewards so much. I hate that they got rid of them. Going for a ranking system similar to the Sonic games. Various points based on what you do. Alright, alright. Bonus games should be a bit more experimental based on their levels. Alright, alright, alright. Let me grab some water real quick. Smash lacks lore, we should fix that. Agreed. Here's a rough outline of what a cleaner Smash story could look like. Mastermind, like figure, calls a multiverse of characters with an offer of the Super Smash Ball 7 Magic Balls that can achieve any dream. Yes, definitely not ripping off anything there. Characters this call is directed towards are action figures. Special figure he answers this call become avatars for their video game counterparts. Villains become the more powerful threats in this world. Naturally, main hero alliances are made. They get these Super Smash Balls. It's so stupid. I love that. Yeah, the story is just an excuse to get all the characters and worlds together. It allows for a new perspective on Smash. Why is every character here? Why is every series here? And how do they interact when put in the same space? Usually Smash games justify the roster by simply saying they're here because some guy wanted them to be here. Well, that's not as fun. With something like this, you can tackle individual character motivations, why they team up, why someone would want to fight, what wishes they would make. I love this. Yeah. Since characters are interactable, so they also play a game in the actual story of this world. allowing you to have more character interaction. Replace character cinematics with simple character portrait talks to allow them to actually have dialogue. And given that Kid Icarus Uprising is a thing that Sakurai worked on, he'd be pretty good at writing this. I agree. The concept mainly shines in how the player can engage with it. Select Sonic and talk to Samus and get different dialogue than if you were Mario. Yeah, just let the characters interact with each other in some way. Probably the biggest thing that Smash Bros. Is lacking right now. I am curious about this. So, worlds and bosses. We got Mushroom Kingdom with PD Piranha, Hyrule Kingdom with Ganon, Pokemon League with Eternatus. Alright. Arcania with Medius, Dreamland with Magolor and Dark Matter. The Prime 4 planet with a Giga... Oh, a Giga Ridley could be sick, though! Love that. Crocodile Isle with King K. Rule, Angel Island with Perfect Chaos, Ghost Island with Talkman, V-Grid with Baldur, Ashina Castle with the Owl Father and the Demon of Hatred. Then the final world's got Bowser and Giga Bowser and the final boss, whatever that may be. As well as the Arcade City, the bonus world, the boss of Death Adder. Fun! I'm gonna skip over the bosses, just we've been gone this one for a while. Wait, hold on. Notice this. This is a 4-player party world themed around 80s retro games. Each level is designed around having 4 players work towards a shared goal. The end boss is also designed around a team of 4 players and assists. I chose Golden Axe's Death Adder for this role. That's fun! Love that. Character unlocks in the base roster. Single-player content really held it back from being anything more than fight X amount of times to get Ken, which is just true. But even in an age of YouTube and Twitter, there's a lot of value in trying to unlock characters. Absolutely. Something I feel like a lot of people skip over when they realize, like, oh, we can't have these fun unlocks. They just get spoiled on the internet. Is that the people that check these kind of things on the internet are a severe minority of the people that actually play the games? Like, this joy is still absolutely there. It's just that you're not seeing the audience that's experiencing it anymore. There's still so much value there. Like, requirements. Base roster is just 10 characters. Mario, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Link, Zelda, Kirby, Samus, Pikachu, Inkling, and Isabelle. Super badass character unlock charts! Just gently go down the list. Got Cynthia, Bayonetta, Sekiro, and Ridley is the hardest to unlock, which I feel fits. Dan, stages, turn balance, this. Okay, approach stage design with the idea of trying to make almost stage archetypes and stages that would fit them. Yeah, fun casual, fun competitive, and try to properly balance between those two. One competitive, one that's casual, maybe an extra one for flavor. I like that. Having one serious Mario stage and one fun Mario stage. I like that a lot, actually, yeah. Still in Redux, yeah, but we're almost done. Redux stages. The options that are always nice. I am curious how you would cover deals. I'm just going to skim this really rapidly. Favor series over characters. I've seen a couple of people suggest that, and I agree with it. DLC sets feel more complete when it feels like they're trying to pull everything into the game, not just the character themselves. Everything comes with fighters, assist stages, and a world and adventure mode for the series represented. I like that. Themes, like, try to make it feel like the DLC character was around all along, because every aspect of the game includes something from them that's being brought into the game. And actual characters chosen for deals. I'm curious about the logic here, so we'll read this real quickly. Wario and Waluigi for Mario, DDD and Bandy for Kirby, Skull Kid and Impa for Zelda. Grab Karate Joe for Rhythm Heaven, and Nintendo NES Lucas for Mother. Season 2 brings Eggman in, Arliff from Puyo Puyo, Kazuya and Jin from Tekken, Ryu Akuma and Chun-Li from Street Fighter, and X and Zero from Mega Man. Season 3, Shantae, Soul Bad Guy, Doomslayer, Zagreus is a fun one, Lloyd, Sense and Papyrus. Fun! Alright. Well, fellas, I definitely didn't mean for the doc to get this long. Ambition just got higher the more I wrote it. Plan on doing a lot more with this than I likely can, but regardless, I have some closing statements. Believe me, I get how exhausting Ultimate was. I also get how it can seem like the peak of what Smash can achieve. Despite all my arguments, I respect any vision that seeks to turn things around, set a new standard that can't even be compared to Ultimate. I also understand wanting to trim the roster in an attempt to save Smash from another exhausting, hype-focused roster. Some even think that Smash shouldn't reboot at all, and instead maintain the IPs it fostered in Ultimate for an even bigger game. To me, it's never been about what can appeal to everyone, but what can make Smash feel exciting again. What can really ignite the power of a crossover platform fighter while feeling familiar yet fresh. By looking back and finding what Smash really is within the depths of our current 80+ character roster, I think Smash can find a fresh and exciting direction again. It does not need to be what I suggested, and I have faith better developers than Mr. Google Docs writer can figure something out. Whatever direction Smash finds, I hope it embodies everything that made this series what it is today. It can't be scared and walk back on all that progress. Like the best games that came before, it must build on them in some form. If there's anything beyond this 64-page document I should tell you, it's that Smash makes people passionate. Beyond what does or does not exist, it's a series with limitless potential for discussion, design, and sheer enjoyment. So whatever form we see it in next, let's just hope we can have fun, discuss ideas, and let it be what it is. A crossover event, an endless dreamscape, and most of all, a legendary platform fighter. Shoutouts to Rancho's brother, who made all the fun artwork. Those were extremely amazing. And yeah, that's the end. Again, I think I'm going to double down on this. I think for what the purpose of this roundtable is, for finding, like, the healthiest routes a Smash Bros. Reboot could take, I think this might actually be the best one we've seen so far. I really, really love the logic behind every decision that's being made here. I think it's a great balance between making sure that previous fans of the series are still happy with what's being shown here, but while also growing the series in a way that makes it still feel fresh and new and exciting. I should say, I think it's the best one, like, achieving that goal. I do have a couple of others that I prefer, but that's more because they sound like really fun spins. Like plays all the bosses kind of deal, or the kaiju one we just read. But those fit better more as spin-offs. This feels like the healthiest actual continuation to what Smash Brothers already is. I think this could work in that format. I think this is something that could be built off of. And I respect that immensely. Alright, well done, Rancho. Well done indeed. Moving on. Moving this into the covered submissions document. Thanks so much. Love your videos. I appreciate that. Okay. Going for an hour and a half. Anybody else have any that they want to go over? If not, we'll just start going down the list. Oh, also, I should cover this at some point. Somebody's link here is linking to a concept that does not exist anymore. If whoever made this submission here, they started this idea out as a joke thought experiment. If that was intentional, that's fine. If not, your document doesn't appear to exist anymore. This was pointed out last time, but I didn't want to bring attention to it because I didn't know if this was, like, an accidental deletion and somebody wasn't ready to show their stuff off yet. But it seems to be just gone. So, should you wish to deal with that, that is there. Good Witch Kirby wants to go. Is your name under... Yes! Alright. And then music. Let me pull this over to my other screen. Shuffle this. Alright. Hello! I am Good Witch Kirby, and I'm here with a Smash Brothers related concept. While I have a lot of ideas for what the next Smash game could be like, I want to submit a more original concept. This is a pitch that asks, what if Smash Brothers was an action platformer? Super Smashed Worlds. Game opens on Woohoo Island, where we see a bunch of Miis having a great time during some kind of festival. They are partying, playing different sports, and much more. Focus on one particular Mii, a Mii that the player has just created, in fact, who is admiring the celebration. It is here where the player gains control of their Mii and is able to walk around and get used to the basic controls. After going far beyond, portals suddenly start to appear in the sky and are sucking people in while spitting out various Nintendo enemies, hazards, and more. Right before you get sucked into a portal, you see a mysterious figure in robes that has a Nintendo Switch for a head and 6 Joy-Con hands. Okay. You are then sent to some mysterious grasslands. Exploring leads you to find a mysterious pendant with the Mii series icon on it. Before you can ponder the pendant's purpose, you see a fellow Mii being attacked by a group of enemies from different series. You try to defend the Mii, but you only succeed in drawing the enemy's ire. Before you can be attacked, the pendant causes you to transform and gain Mii series related abilities that you use to defend the Mii and make it through the first level. The Mii then asks you to help them and any other Miis you find. You must now find those other Miis, make your way across different worlds, and discover a way home. 2D action platformer. This game plays like a cross between the Kirby and Mario games. So we're going hard left into a spin-off here for Super Smash Bros. Okay. You can do everything you can do in a 2D Mario game, except for not having the ability to spin jump and not running as tight to the control stick. Set a health bar and use items you buy in the shop. Standard gameplay stuff. Standout feature of this game is the game's version of power-up. Prime power-ups. Prime power-ups act like a permanent version of Kirby copy abilities, but they are all based on different Nintendo franchises. You collect them throughout the game in many different places, like the badges from Super Mario Bros. Wonder. You can have 2 different Prime power-ups at a time, and you can swap between them with the press of a button. The interesting part of this comes from the fact that the power-up you are currently using is modified by the power-up you have saved. You can say the abilities of each power-up are smashed together. Want to make covers of music from franchises in Smash for my cons speaking aloud if they become... Yes, if they don't, like, outright take motifs from, like, actual pop songs, like songs that would get copyright struck for just for hearing them sound like that, I think that should be fine. Some ideas for different power-ups can be utilized, be pendant and basic well-rounded power-up as you use a combination of different things Mii's have used from across their series. Sports equipment, magic, and more. Mario gives us a different combination of different power-ups from the Mario series. Zelda gives items in the Master Sword. Kirby lets you copy. Oh, okay. Ability to inhale that acts like the one from Kirby 64, and use the super inhale like Kirby's Dream. Okay. Splatoon gear gives you Splatoon stuff. Metro Power Armor gives you the Power Armor. Pokemon Pokeball gives you different Pokemon that you can use. Pikmin gear gives you a different number of Pikmin. The Xenoblade. Wish them luck. I can tell you haven't played this series before. That's hilarious. Will I assist you in the battle and can merge you? Actually, is it called, like, is it spelled with a Z in different countries, actually? I shouldn't laugh too quickly at this. And you can smash them together to have them... Interesting, we've got another kind of... Let's take these two franchises and smash them together concept here. You can fuse Mario power-ups together. You have Zelda Gloom act as the Splatoon ink. Or you can swap your Pokemon out for something that fits thematically with whatever series it's smashed into. Xenoblade can have a look-like of a character from the series of the other Prime power-up. Interesting. Okay, I like that. Levels are structured like Mario or Kirby games. Collecting more muse, you upgrade the hub area, much like Kirby in the Forgotten Land. I like that. Also unlock different Nintendo-based minigames. Shops as well. Overworld has the same structure as the one from Super Mario Bros. Wonder. There are also challenge levels. 7 different worlds, very traditional. I like it. World 1 is a grassland castle world, a mix of Mario, Zelda, Kirby, and Fire Emblem. 2 is jungle-themed. World 3 is a beach and ocean world. 4 is a mountain world with temples and monasteries. Inside the mountain is an underground fight club in the style of Punch-Out boxing rings and Pokemon gyms. Like it. Very fun. World 5 is an ice-themed world, traversing frozen towns and cities from series like Animal Crossing. 6 is space-themed. Contains elements from series like Metroid, Star Fox, and Kirby. And 7 is the return to Wuhu Island. Almost Kingdom Hearts-esque, the setup of this, eventually returning to the original spot you started. This world is a whirlwind of different Nintendo properties, as this is where this initial conflux of nastiness initially started. Enemies are taken from a myriad of Nintendo franchises. Main boss of World 1 is Bowser, but he seems different than usual. His purple eyes and a Nintendo Switch on his collar. Something that all the main bosses share. Defeat him by normal by dropping the axe and making the bridge fall. However, he rises out of the lava as a fusion between his Giga form and Meta Oh, that's sick, though! Oh, just Giga Bowser Meta Ridley fusion? Yes, please! Main boss of World 2 is the Titan Dweevil, but the objects in his body come from different Nintendo series. Number 3 is DJ Octavio, who's taken over a rave and wants it to last forever. Attacks you with things from Riven Heaven. Fun. World 4 is Blue from Pikmin. And his Pokemon have been turned into chimeras by the Pig Mask Army from Mother 3. Yo, this is a fun concept. Again, very much a spin-off and not a reboot. But this is such a fun way of, like, just taking another direction for, okay, how can we make a crossover series? Number 5 is Tom Nook. Creates a bootleg version of yourself. You have to fight. World 6 is Ganondorf, now has the dark power of dark matter signified by an eye on his chest. That's so cool. Transforms into a combination of Ganon and Void Termina. Final boss is once again Bowser, at least at first. This time he has elements of his Fury form and uses attacks from the other bosses. Second phase is where you finally face the figure from the Nintendo Switch for a head, who we will call the Master of Worlds. He uses a lot of attacks involving portals, like shooting lasers through them or hurling random objects or enemies at you. Think of the fights against Magolor or Elphalus. In the third and final phase, the Master of Worlds uses the power of the different Prime power-ups to finally put an end to you. As an arena, like Kirby. Another extra mode is the Last Ride, which is basically the Forgo Isles, but themed after Super Nintendo Land. Okay, fun. Then you unlock the True Arena, just like Kirby. Comes with a secret boss you cannot fight elsewhere, Master and Crazy Hand, who will form into a Master Giant. Very fun. First our submission for a peasant's perspective, so please provide some constructive criticism for what I made. I hope to submit many more pitches in the future. Okay! Like, very short, simple, easy to remember. I like these kind of ideas. But this has a very, very, very nice hook. Like, just the sentence of, where is it? defeating Bowser as normal by dropping the axe and making Bowser fall. However, he rises out of the lava as a fusion between his Giga form and Meta Ridley. That's so cool! I love that! Yeah, this would be a very nice spin-off to kind of bridge the gap between Ultimate and whatever the next iteration of Smash Brothers is. Fits very nicely into that sort of like halvesies intervention that a couple of these ideas have had. Especially love the idea of like fusing various power-ups. Like that there's a simple fun between imagining just like, okay, what Pokemon fits thematically with Xenoblade or Splatoon or Zelda or whatever. Very fun. Alright, thank you! Thank you, Good Witch Kirby. I enjoyed that immensely. Alright, let's pop this up. Boop. And boop, that has been added to the docket. Has this been... I'll check that later. Alright, getting an influx of people. Hello, everybody. Glad to see that you could all stop by. Okay, who wants to be next? Just had a lot of people to stop in. I bet... Did Felicia just stop streaming? This feels like an influx of people coming from a different stream. Spidermaster would like to go. Oh, you asked the deletion as action. I'll still deal with it later. Alright, where is Spidermaster? There's Spidey's. Toying around with Smash... Oh, we're getting another toy one? Yes! Ah, Bluebird business. I see, I see. Alright. Oh, was there music for this as well? I should double check. Yeah. Grab this. Get this started. Good song. Alright. Let me keep it $100 with you. Normally I do a big, elaborate title drop with a little highly unnecessary skit and stuff, but this time, I'm not doing that. I have a quick concept that I don't even really think is baked all the way, but I'm counting on myself and the audience to come up with better ideas based on the foundation I lay down here. So without further ado, I remember that weird opening of Smash 64? Just Master Hand dragging toys around? When I was younger, I always found the everyone is just a toy and every fight is in a child's imagination to be such a dumb cop-out. God, why can't all my favorite gaming characters actually cross over for realsies? But as I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate the idea a bit more. It's got charm and whimsy, and it also kind of knocks the legs out from all those uber-serious discussions about Smash fans tend to have. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just a silly video game. This is a silly video game that is canonically just a kid playing there with their toys. On a very related note, very based off of you to bring up Disney Mirrorverse, it actually inspired me to make this pitch, although instead of Mirrorverse, I decided to take inspiration from a different Disney game. This is going to be Disney Infinity, isn't it? Yep. Fun fact, I worked as a QA tester on this game. My name is in the credits of Disney Infinity 2.0. Disney Infinity is, or unfortunately was, Disney's foray into the short-lived toys-to-life genre. In comparison to its main competitor Skylanders, instead of having complex, whimsical lore and a vibrant and expansive world, Infinity decided to be a bit more unimaginative and straightforward and just explained everything as being toys. The levels themed around your favorite and most marketable Disney brands, they're called play sets. The main sandbox mode, the toy box. Collectibles are shaped like those little capsules you'd get after a visit to the dentist as a kid. Characters upon death would break apart at what would be their joints, and if you look closely, Some buildings and levels have obvious screws or battery compartments incorporated into their designs, showing that they're actually just larger playsets. Basically, at every turn, the game would not be hitting you over the head with the fact that you are a toy. So, what if Smash was equally as unsubtle? The immediate effects of the art style would be obvious. The leap from Ultimate's rather plastic-like style to this new toy one would be so drastic as to be off-putting, but still different enough to catch the eye of the layman, like how Street Fighter VI's hip-hop-inspired art style sets it apart from all the others in the series. And keeping in line with the idea of this being a reboot, it directly brings back Smash to its roots, to the very first non-gameplay anything the series ever had. Sora should be the blueprint, regardless of if he as a character makes it back in a reboot. Just look at his design in the Toy Story world of Kingdom Hearts 3. Take note of his squarer proportions, the obvious joints, and matte sheen from his plastic exterior. You can make characters look like this. Or maybe the more serious characters such as Snake or Bayonetta can look like high-end collector's figures, like Figmas or what have you. This look obviously has implications on animations. Instead of the boom sound effect you get when launching opponents into the air, you would hear the clack of plastic hitting plastic, like slamming two action figures together. Maybe when you get KO'd, your character breaks into bits, and as Pallet suggested to me when I discussed this idea with the rest of Smashworks, maybe the leftover parts that drop on the stage can be picked up as items. That's hilarious! And you know what else would be cool? What if you slow down the frame rate of animations, making everything look like it's actually stop-motion animation? Well, we've talked about this before. I can't remember whose it was, but this gets in the way of actual fighting game gameplay. You can't slow down the frame rate of animations because fighting games need to feel fluid. You have to have that pop. Otherwise it feels weirdly turn-based. And not bad stop motion either. Fear something like this, where it can paradoxically look animated and come close to normal realistic movement at the same time. So you get the look. It isn't enough to interfere with the gameplay. Think of something like the Spider-Verse filter in the Insomniac Spider-Man game where the gameplay feels the same but looks cooler. Okay. How would that work? That might be doable. But it might also be hard to make it as a consistent style. Especially since the Spider-Verse filter, I mean, personally at least, in the Insomniac games, does kind of hurt my eyes after watching it for long periods of time. If you haven't tapped out yet, let me go a bit further. In that Smashworks discussion, EC suggested a Skylander swap force-like mechanic, where fighters can replace part of... Oh shit, that's cool though! So you can actually trade their parts around. Joker with Mega Man's arm cannon, Marth with Rob's torso granting him jet boosts, and that oh so satisfying down B. Give King K. Rool Nikita instead of a blunderbuss. Hey, you know how Banjo and Diddy Kong are both rare creations? Give Diddy Kazooie in a backpack. Why give Ganondorf his trident? You can give him Cloud's Buster Sword in one hand and Min Min's Megawatt arm in the other. What if we take it even further? Take the groove idea from BC's Fusion Pitch, which is fantastic, where not only can you swap around limbs, but also apply an overall modifier to your fighter, so that they can behave more like stuff from certain series. In that previous Joker with Mega Man's arm cannon, instead of his gun idea, screw it. Give him the Mario series groove as well, and he's all jumpy and stuff. Go nuts. The only limit is your imagination. What about the rest of the game? Don't worry, dear reader, this will be extended to that as well. We'll start with a small change, recontextualizing the Issus trophies as prize capsules. Because, like, come on. No-brainer for what this would be. Now, Another suggestion from Maz and ZX was that the animation when unlocking new characters could be a toy unboxing. That's cute, I like that. Proceed to expeditiously kick Zelda's butt, and when you inevitably do, you're met with this. Followed by an animation of the packaging being torn open and Zelda popping out in a cool pose. That does sound sick. Now, speaking of unlock animations, what would my proposed roster be? Well, I don't have one. Roster discussions are the most boring part of reboot speculation for me. And furthermore, I just don't like cutting characters. I'd rather leave that to the professionals. Instead, here's a totally objective, absolutely 100% unbiased list of characters I think would be neat, would fit the theme well, and could bring some interesting things to the table in form of grooves, parts, or stages. No-brainer here, absolutely. Let me re-center this a little bit. I'm going to cover the character portraits for a second. That's fine. Canonically popping new toys aren't kind of as perfect as the swap parts gimmick, and his groove could be the timing mechanic of the RPG games. Fun. Jonesy. Sure. Kit would revolve around build instructions in a fundamentally different way from, say, Steve. It's like knockoff Duke from G.I. Joe. You know what? That is true. He does very much look like a G.I. Joe knockoff. Bridget, specifically. Interesting. Not so bad guy. Look at her. Aw, she's adorable. Debatably the most iconic Guilty Gear character to the general gaming public. Maybe? I don't know enough about Guilty Gear to follow that. Probably Japan, at least. Main weapons are a yo-yo and a giant possessed teddy bear, both of which are both toy. Oh, that's fair! I'm with you now, I'm with you now. Fits the theme perfectly. Oh, I would have been so happy about this a couple of days ago, but now it just hurts. He would fit, though. He's got the metal arm that perfectly fits into this whole aesthetic. And he's kind of a miracle his game got popular. You'd think... Like, yeah, he would be. Like, why? He's so popular. Like, why would there be any doubts of him being in a game like this? It'd be so stupid to, like, I don't know, close the studio that made this game. And to be clear, there is more nuance behind that story. We'll probably talk about it in Design Dorks. A lot of the people that were in Tango actually just outright left the studio. So it was kind of a shell of what it already was. Still sucks. Oh, you could do a Palutena's guidance with Chai and his teammates instead. God, that'd be so cute. And Glamrock Freddy. I mean, it's... Look at him. It's a toy. It's literally a toy. Karlak! Oh! You know what? I follow this logic. Comes from D&D as a tabletop RPG. You could design her as if an actual mini, though. Oh, that's actually really cool, though. Non-new villain, super heavyweight character. Also, surprisingly, the first Smash character to use an axe as a main weapon. Imagine her using Bowser's tough guy. Oh, I love that. I really love that. Sukumon has to be here. It's pandering, but it's good pandering. I like it. We got Tree Rex. Oh, you know what? No, that actually totally works. If there's any type of Smash Bros. Game that Skylanders should be in, it's this one. No, I'm hearing you. You don't have to hear you out. This makes perfect sense as well. We're going for this kind of toy-based format. Legos. Lego games are massive. This is a Lego character. Sure, I'm down for it. Honestly, this is a harder hear me out than the Lego dude. But you know what? I'm kind of feeling this one too. I really am. Because, like, yeah, again, most people have owned a Star Wars toy in their life. He's a video game character. It's kind of an odd choice, but you know what? Yeah, I'm feeling it. And then Helldiver from Helldivers 2. They do look like action figures. Bring some much needed... Oh, yeah, you sold me in one sentence, Spidermaster. With this being a toy setup, you could just give Cal's arm his lightsaber to any of these past characters. I want to see Karlach dual-wielding an axe and a lightsaber. Yes. 100% down. Oh, that's a fun one! And again, very much fits with the theme we're going for here. Still a puppet like Chino. There we go. I'm down. That fits. And then a D. I love how there's all of these wacky picks from all sorts of bizarre corners of the gaming world. And then Bandana D. Now I'm just picturing it. Karlach with like a regular body, but one of her arms is just replaced with one of Bandana D's stubs. Or better, Bandana D, but one of his stubs is Karlach's beefy arm, like a whole Trogdor thing with her giant axe. That'd be so funny. And Chibi Robo fits the thing perfectly. Constance. I'll believe you for best possible choice for a Fire Emblem rep. Apparently we'll cover it with the next peasant's perspective. Karlach with a Lego arm on one side and a Bandana stub on the other. That's so stupid. I love it so much. Alright. Now let's talk about stages. Forget making accurate representations of locations from their home series. Make them playsets or just parts of the house that they've been hijacked from playing. Your Bowser's Castle stage? It's just a more elaborate version of this. Sold. Maybe a big red button pops up that when pressed activates the dozens of awesome lights and sounds, including realistic Koopa action. Or take your basic lame Pokemon Stadium stage and make it take place on a desk. And the type-related stage transformations are just items being placed on the table. A potted plant and some dirt for grass type or for a ghost type transformation. The lights in the room switch off and on and you see glow-in-the-dark ghost stickers in the background. Oh, you know what would be really cool for something like this? Make it like an actual, like a trading card battle for the Pokemon. Like a Pokemon trading card battle. That'd be so good. Or you want to get really crazy? Real bonkers bazinga brain behavior? Peep this one. See how the Wrecking Crew stage looks like this? Well, I present to you the single greatest Smash stage idea since Pokefloats. Just a shelving rack in a garage. Want to theme it around the original Donkey Kong instead? Sure. Make the shelves red and turn off the lights in the garage. Boom. How obvious you make can vary too. Maybe it's straight up just a shelving unit, or maybe it starts off like that. But as the fighters come to life via the power of imagination, the stage and background and stuff transitions to looking a bit more real. With some real details like screws and leftover tools still in the background to remind you it's still just a shelf. You can see how this idea has promise, yes? Since we're doing this whole new roundtable thing, we're gonna mix up things too. Duke, chat, take, if you wish, the next couple of minutes to pitch a few more ideas for stuff following these parameters. This totally isn't because I just came up with the garage shelf Wrecking Crew stage idea and ran out of juice. No, I am simply experimenting with audience participation. Yeah, that's totally what I'm doing. You know what? Sure. I will genuinely pause for audience participation. Because also let's take a drink of water. What would be fun ways of building off of this concept? Discuss. Garage self-running crew stage. My gut reaction was boss battles, but taking, like, household items and just kind of tooling them to be more, well, Nintendo boss battles. Like, my first thought was one of those, like, shop vacuum cleaners, but make, like, the nozzle of the vacuum, like, give it the, what's the Paper Mario dragon boss? The long snake, like, well, really any snake dragon boss from any of these Nintendo games. Pikmin 4, stage being translated 1-to-1 be so... Yeah, make it so that Olimar is the only non-toy character here, and he's just bamboozled by why he's walked into this Toy Story spin-off. That'd be hilarious. Yeah, exactly. Let's see, what else? I'm kind of just looking around my room now. We're taking Karlach into the mix. I want to see a stage that's based off of, like, an actual, like, DM mid-dungeon Dungeons and Dragons game. Like, have the map on the ground, have someone moving figures around. That'd be a great boss fight. Like, you just get set down on the map, and a giant red dragon, like something like... Let me grab this real quick. Something like this gets just plopped down in front of you, and it comes to life. That'd be so cool. The new Peach game can recontextualize her as a Barbie doll to explain the costume powers. Yes. Mention water stage from either a sink or a water machine acting as a tsunami. I like it. Now when Nintendo stage can come back is. Of course I have a mini to show off in arm's reach. Bro, I've got like 60. Actually, you know what? Hold on. This is gonna... Actually, no, I was gonna move the camera, but it's got the green screen filter on, and I don't want to destroy that. So you guys gonna have to believe me when I say that I have an entire shelf of minis right behind the camera. Ah. Potted PD Piranha. Ooh! Okay, but actually, like, taking any sort of, like, potted plant and spinning that into either a stage or a boss or just anything of the sort. Like, it doesn't have to be a potted PD Piranha. It could just be a life-size potted piranha plant. That'd be terrifying. I'd love it. Went from League of Legends as an actual doll. Yeah, that works. We should do a Portal of Power stage. Oh, yeah, that works too. Future video idea. Just shows off my mini collection and just dorks out over D&D for 20 minutes. You know what? That is tempting, I will admit. Centipede from the game Centipede as an assist trophy, but like an actual centipede. I don't I don't know about that one. Just because I feel like shrinking things down to toy size and then approaching with an actual centipede, that sounds genuinely terrifying. Tire Pod is the station you're fighting PD Piranha as it grows from a seed to a fully developed flower. Cool. Alright. I'm feeling satisfied. You guys done? Great, that felt like forever. And this roundtable still has a lot to cover. Great ideas, Lo. I really like that one idea that person in chat pitched. That one was my favorite. You know which one I'm talking about, right? Yeah, you do. Writing this document, I fully realized that this might be an all kind of nothing burger. Unlike some other submissions here, I didn't really put forth any game-changing mechanics, apart from the part-switching one. Heck, I cited the most well-thought-out systems of other submissions, because I think those are so cool and this roundtable format allows for that. But I do think giving Smash that new coat of paint, for as small a thing as that is a powerful move to make. I mean, I know I wouldn't have picked up Street Fighter 6 if it didn't have that brand new hip-hop spray-painted look, and I'd bet the same goes for a lot of folks. Yes, me included. That's what got me into Street Fighter 6. It was the aesthetic. Anywho, that's all I've got. My 2 cents on this whole Smash thing, apart from the fact that... Sorry, I wasn't able to elaborate like 100 pages long like normal. I too many things on my plate right now, but I did at least want to contribute to the first roundtable, even in this unhinged, seat-of-my-pants style. Excited to see what everyone brings to the table. Pun, very much intentional. Mash them up and create a new superhero. Yeah, but unironically, this kind of sells the concept. I like it. Thank you for reading. What, you're still here? It's over. Move on, there's more entries to cover, surely. If you're expecting a tease for something at the end, you're gonna be disappointed. I'm just writing this because I think it'd be a funny bit. There's nothing. Go home and touch grass or whatever. Oh, that's literally just the end. Anything hidden? Nope. Just to tell people to touch grass. I respect that. No, yeah, this is a great idea. I think this definitely falls into the category of... this would be like a between reboot game, almost, just kind of an experimental, like, here's something we'll do with Smash Brothers while we figure out what to follow through with the series proper. We've had a few ideas like this, but I think this is a really funny way of doing that. There's such a strong appeal behind the idea of just mixing and matching just action figure pieces together of Nintendo characters. Like, give Bowser Bridget's arms, so Bowser's just doing yo-yo tricks and fighting with a teddy bear. Do the same with Ridley. I suppose it does limit the roster a little bit. Like, it has to be humanoid fighters for this to really work. Like, you might not be able to do Ridley, just because he's got a lot of extra limbs that you'd have to either ask, okay, are we going to add these limbs to other characters, or are these just kind of awkwardly there? It does open up a lot of questions like that, but I think the core premise is so fun. Well done, Spidermaster. That was delightful to read through. Alright. Let's move this over to the covered submission document. Alright, how have we been going? A little over 2 hours? I got one or two more left. Anybody in the chat that wants to go next? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Dyxo! Alright, happy to do so. Let me open this playlist in a new tab. Get this set up. Is this the soundtrack of... Alright, cool. That's fun. Alright. Big old crackhead idea for something. I thought it was a cool spot at first. I was about to be really excited, but this is something else. Still cool. Alright. Super Smash Brothers Evolution. Before I start... No? Go away. Drink water. Stretch. You know what? Sure. I will do so. Thank you for the reminder. It's important to stretch when you're sitting around for long periods of time. I extend that to the rest of chat. Get up, stretch a little bit. It's important for your health. Right. There has been a trend lately of fighting games having roguelikes as their single-player modes. This is a fun idea, as it adds a ton of replayability to casual fans, and allows devs to create a ton of content for less. Well, at least more specialized work than a traditional story mode would entail. Not every game needs to be Guilty Gear Strive's epic narrative or Street Fighter VI's open-world custom campaign. However, I have not seen any game truly capitalize on it. Except one. There's a game called Rounds, which is built explicitly to be a competitive roguelike. Both players start out on equal footing, gun in hand, and just shoot until somebody dies. After a best 2 of 3, both players are brought into a menu to select one of 5 cards that grants a permanent buff of some kind. Afterwards, they go at it again until a winner is declared, growing endlessly over and over again. Okay, but like as a game concept, that's phenomenal! Love the sound of that. Now, let's give this idea to a platform fighter. Every time you lose a stock, you have upgrade options appear over your head, each corresponding to a different button. You press that button, you gain the upgrade. Every character would have 15 to 20 unique upgrades, and then another 30 or so generic options that can show up for anyone. The number of each you may pull isn't standardized at all, except that you are guaranteed at least one character-specific upgrade you can grab. Let's use Mario, for example, as he is the one character that is generally guaranteed to be in any roster, which is convenient for me, as I frankly couldn't give less of a shit about the roster debates. And let's give him his wahoo back for a bit, given this is a reboot anyway. Mario is knocked out, gets on the respawn platform, and he sees the upgrades Super Ball, Dive Dash, Home Run Bat, Punch Up, and Light Armor. Super Ball replaces his Fireball special with a faster moving projectile that can bounce around the screen, replicating the power-up of the same name from Mario Land. Dive Dash replaces his sliding kick dash attack with the dive from Mario 64, which will deal less damage and base knockback, but have surprisingly high knockback scaling, and you can jump out of it to retain momentum. While this knockback scaling never hits the point where it makes for a kill move, it does turn his dash into a flexible punch tool, to an additional mobility tool that allows him to set up for air combos while remaining mobile. Home Run Bat has him start all feature stocks with a Home Run Bat, but disables any other upgrade that lets him start the stock with an item for the rest of the match. Punch Up increases the damage of punching moves, and Light Armor grants a little bit of damage and knockback resistance. Now I hear you, some of these effects just sound like spirit abilities. That's because they are. Spirit abilities in Ultimate already make for a good framework on what the generic upgrades could be. And since some of these spirit abilities could stack, let's say some upgrades can also be grabbed more than once. Let's say Mario already has one instance of Punch Up, and Punch Up has, to grab a number, a 1.2 damage increase to punching attacks. Well, you can grab it again for what is now a 1.4 increase. This is why I'm calling it Evolution. Both because this is an evolution to Smash's formula, and now there is an entirely new gameplay mechanic the entire engine revolves around. But also because these characters are guaranteed to evolve as the match goes on, due to getting upgrades every time they die. Now I could end it there and actually believe in brevity for once, but this is me. You've seen why I throw it into Peasant's perspective. Not happening. Well, I would like to reiterate that I couldn't care less about the "oh, what should the roster be" debate. Let me bring up a few characters I think would benefit from this, and not super obvious ones like Link, Kirby, or Mega Man, but one that I would take some deeper polls. First, let's talk Hero, or specifically the fun menu. As implied with the Home Run Bat upgrade I mentioned before, sometimes upgrades may lock out the ability to select other upgrades down the line. Now for Hero, let's say he starts every match with only 4 moves in his command menu. Doesn't matter which one, just pick whatever 4 sound funny in your head. Now let's give him 3 types of upgrades regarding just that menu. Now the most obvious ones, that he can have upgrades to add more moves to the menu. For the sake of example, let's say he never starts with Metal Slash due to how niche it is, but you're facing off against another hero that likes using Proclaim. Since it is visible to every player what upgrades you're about to get, that opposing hero sees you grab Metal Slash. Simply by the act of picking it, you have now fundamentally changed the current matchup, even if you never use it. The threat of now having Metal Slash may be enough to change your opponent's playstyle. It would also be funny if there was an upgrade that gave you say a metal box for the first 10 seconds after your stock ends. This instantly counters that and turns those first 10 seconds into a cat and mouse chase where you're metal and can't run away as fast. That'd be hilarious. Then there could be upgrades that directly change things already in the menu. For example, an upgrade that lets you remove the next ability you try to use from the menu. Or maybe one that permanently upgrades Sizz into Sizzle. Or even an upgrade that just increases the duration of your support spells. And now for the reason I bring it up, one special upgrade. Let's call it fixed menu. The 4 choices you had the last time you pulled up the menu are now the only 4 commands you can have for the rest of that match. Because some people prefer consistency over power. Maybe fixed menu comes up when you have the perfect lineup. Great. But maybe it comes up when you have something nutty like Kamikaze, Metal Slash, Zoom, and Hocus Pocus. Is it worth getting then? Maybe it comes up when you get something like Bang, Kaboom, Flame Slash, and Crackle Slash. That's a lot of overlap in movement utility, so is it worth it then? Or maybe you've gotten a bunch of upgrades that remove commands, so you only have 3 spells. Maybe only 2. In that instance, fixed menu would do nothing. But you might want to grab it anyway, just to stop the game from offering you upgrades that add things to that menu. Do you waste an upgrade to fix RNG in your favor for the rest of the match? Or grab something that's immediately useful and navigate past unwanted upgrade options later on? For a character that could benefit a lot from this, but is in a much less polarizing way, let's talk about Squirtle. Now for Squirtle, he's got some options regarding maybe swapping out some moves for others. Maybe he has a stackable upgrade that uses his shell as an excuse to increase his durability. Probably going to give him an upgrade that lets Water Gun do damage. Or turns it into Scald, to give it VGC Bros PTSD. Or even an upgrade titled Evolve. Novel idea, a Pokemon having an Evolve upgrade in Smash Evolution, but hear me out. Upon grabbing this upgrade, you stop playing as Squirtle, and start playing as Wartortle. Grab it again as Wartortle, you start playing as Blastoise. Grab it a 3rd time, Mega Blastoise time, baby! Time for gun hands and blasting everyone away with the big cannon. Sure, this may cause compatibility issues with previous upgrades, but this could easily total 100 pages if you went over every possible janky upgrade interaction. But this comes at the cost of growing bigger and bulkier each time, so whether or not his speed and power would be impacted, you are still transforming from one of the smallest and most nimble characters in the game to one of the biggest and heaviest over the course of 4 stocks. Finally, let's discuss a newcomer, who could be built entirely around this system. And more importantly, a character that would bring me back to my roots with this channel, Andy, Advance Wars. For any of you who never got to see Duke review my ancient-ass Andy kit, don't worry, but feel free to ask me for a link to it. For those that have read through it, I have a warning. I'm going to pretend that it never happened. Instead, we're going to be rebuilding Andy from the ground up with this system in mind. Let's say Andy's pretty basic at first. He's swinging around that giant wrench from the reboot as a pseudo-sortie. He's got his summons, and he has a unique funds gauge. He gains a fixed amount of funds every few seconds, can spend funds to heal with a special, and his funds reset when he dies. Now let's give him his own version of Steve's crafting bench, the base, and have it so when he's next to it he can open a Monado-style radial menu, spend funds on units, and then go about his merry way. At first, these units are just tanks, infantry, and helicopters. Basic stage control, but nothing that can't be swatted away by most of the cast. But then he gets upgrades that add more units. Recons, artillery, bombers, fighter jets, submarines, the whole shebang. He can only have up to 8 units available to choose from, though. So how do we get around that? Sure, we could have an upgrade that lets you decommission units you don't want. Where's the fun in that? Next upgrade, Tech Up. Tanks become medium tanks, which become neo tanks, which become mega tanks. Far more powerful units, but also more expensive. How do we get around that? Increased funding. An infinitely stackable upgrade that increases how much money he gains during that fixed interval. Or maybe Funding Siphon, which gains him funds when he deals damage. Or even Capture Base, which increases his funding if he's standing near his or another Andy's base when that timer goes off. Oh no, now we have more funds that we can use. Does that break the game? No. We create new things we can put our funds into. Sure, there's Tech Up, we can do better. Second base lets you have 2 bases. Hyper Repair increases the tick rate of his self-healing skill, and thus how quickly he drains his funds while doing it. Or maybe we can grab Insurance Policy, which decreases the opponent's shield damage based on how many funds you have, but at the cost of funds when hitting while shielding. That's so fun, though! That's right, we're taking Link's magic armor and giving it to Andy, because why the fuck not? Or if you want to get absolutely crazy, we have the CO power upgrade, which lets you spend funds to use his final smash. What's that? Smash Ball and Smash Meter are both turned off for this match? Well, too bad! Andy's going to be using his hard-earned cash on a hyper upgrade to make those big beefy tanks even stronger for a few seconds. Of course, not every upgrade needs to revolve around funds, right? Of course not. Hero wouldn't only have menu upgrades, so Andy shouldn't only have funds upgrades. Let's also have it so he can heal his units by attacking them with his wrench, a la TF2 Engineer. Maybe an upgrade that splits it into 2 wrenches like in previous games, giving him a new playstyle that trades range and power for better frame data. Hell, maybe we can have an upgrade that just gives him a gun. A true leader is going to lead from the front, right? So let's pick up that AR and march on and just spraying bullets everywhere. In fact, maybe we can even have some upgrades that replace Andy's and or his unit's projectiles with giant close-range explosions. Or ones that turn what would normally be close-range explosions into projectiles. Rockets can fire point-blank, indirect bombers are real, and Andy has a bazooka pointed forward instead of at his feet like a certain other soldier. And that's just looking at how characters would function in a normal versus match. Imagine the system in classic mode, where you get a free upgrade every match, but opponents power up over time and your lives carry between matches. Imagine multi-man melee, or all-star mode, as this grueling gauntlet where every kill nets you an upgrade, but the enemies are also progressively getting stronger. Maybe it'll need to be done in waves, so the player has a chance to breathe and select their upgrades in peace. Oh yeah, multi-man melee is now TF2's man vs. machine with this in place. You're welcome. And then if this has a sprawling single-player campaign, maybe those upgrades are replaced with a leveling system, where you can spend points to grab upgrades in a grid or side menu, but in every match you only have a single stock. So you need to win matches to get more upgrades, but they are functionally permanent. Gotta get those RPG elements in that the industry loves. But don't forget that Special Smash is an option every game has had since Melee. You could also twist the system in so many new ways there. One option could have it so that you get a random upgrade whenever you respawn. No 5-card choice, no need to press a button before dropping down, but you also don't know what you're gonna get into until the little gachapon machine is done spinning. Another could be turning it into a deck builder mode. Something the competitive scene would appreciate would be if you could just pick a deck size and then get the full list of upgrades that character can get. You look through them, grab 20 you want, maybe even double up on stackables for the build you want. Get automatically warned if you try and have incompatible upgrades, and then you test out your build against someone else's deck. Oh my god, that sounds amazing though. Watch as suddenly a mirror match can have a 3-7 matchup because one guy built a deck specifically to fuck up his own character. Fuck your clang spam, I have Metal Slash! But at the same time, maybe you just want to have a normal game of Smash. No upgrades, no fiddling with buttons. While respawning, no double checking which upgrades the opponent has. Just load up the game and get going. Maybe even call it Simple Smash. Characters made specifically for this system, like Andy, would no doubt suffer. But if the boys want to reject modernity and embrace tradition, then it is the Smash way to support the decision. The possibilities are there. It's just a question of how far you want to go with them. Now I want to end this off on how this would affect a way to play Smash that is often seen as just a meme. Imagine what a 99 stock match would look like with this system. A solid hour of players slowly grabbing more and more upgrades, each one slowly stacking on top of each other. And after a while, every player becomes a god as their stocks get lower and their buffs pile up. What's hilarious about this is I don't think this would take an hour. Because at a certain point, you've got like ×3 modifiers on the power of all your moves. So as soon as you get to hit like the, say the 50 stock match, I mean the 50 stock margin, you're gonna kill anybody in 2 hits. So it eventually just turns into a sudden death match, where you're just wildly just bouncing across the screen, trying to be the first one to land a hit. That'd be so funny. And we will all be left wondering how many consoles just fucking exploded during playtesting. And we end off with an explosion. This is so fun. I think this is my favorite, like, new mode suggestion. Like, obviously it's a game designed around this. I would prefer the game designed to be designed around this, because this sounds amazing. But even if this was just a single side mode just to give, like, these basic stat buffs, this would be so much fun. And if the whole thing was designed around it, can you imagine what you could do? Like, take that idea I had for Bowser having a level 1 super where he just grows in size. You could have that in this setup, but infinitely, and you don't have to lose it after the stock is over. He just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger every single time you use it. You could use that deck building thing and just make it so that every single thing that Bowser can grab is just, okay, I want to have a bigger Bowser. And that would be so funny. Oh, true. There be multipliers on defenses too. That's fair. That's very fair. Which also adds fascinating depth to this. Do you go for an immovable tank or an absolute glass cannon? God, this just adds so many layers to baseline Smash Brothers. And all of them sound fun. Like, this honestly kind of just feels like better custom moves, because it actually customizes mid-match and gives you a feeling of progression, which so many of these games, like the franchises these characters come from, revolve around so heavily. Like, I feel like it would feel so much better if instead of having the fire arrow chosen at the start of a match, you get the fire arrow upgrade, and it actually becomes a significant upgrade over the baseline arrow that actually lights people on fire and deals significantly more damage because it's meant to be an upgrade instead of a separate option. This allows for actual power scaling in how these upgrades work, which just sounds like so much fun. No, yeah, I love this idea, Dyxo. 10 out of 10, well done. Alright. Let's move this over. Please go play around. You know, yeah, you've definitely sold me on how fun this sounds. If matches take too long, the game will crash because of how that works. That sounds amazing. You know what, I'm actually going to write that down. Making no promises, but I'm going to at least check out like a trailer for how this works, because this sounds fascinating. Oh my god, good to be a coffee cup making your sleep meter longer. I don't know about that. I'm currently staring at 3 separate coffee mugs that I've just brought up here from breakfast. Some people leave dirty dishes from meals. I have a never-ending supply of coffee cups that I just never bring downstairs. Because like, I spent like an hour sipping it, and then I'm busy doing work. Why would I go back downstairs to bring my dishes down? That's what weird, responsible people do. All right. I think for today's Roundtable Relay, I think I'm going to stop here. Just because I'm starting to feel like that tension in the jaw from narrating for too long. I can't remember whose idea it was. I think it was the Smash Brothers Redux. I went a little too hard on that one. I think I've burnt out my jaw a little bit, and I don't... I want to be able to approach every one of these ideas with the care and ability to give feedback that I want to. Like last week, I'll probably jump over to XCOM in about, let's say, a little after 4. It might give me some time to grab food and take a break, but for now, this has been another episode of Roundtable Relay. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been so much fun. How many ideas have we covered, actually? I want to Let me figure this out real quick. We got 6 pages of ideas so far that we've gone over. That's nuts. That's so cool. How many do we have left? Half page. 1, 2, 3, about 4. So we're getting down there. We knocked out 2 pages this time. Maybe we'll get 2 next time. So maybe 2 or 3 more of these streams before we get to the end of this roundtable relay. No. That's a bot. Nobody that's not a bot types like that. Alright, but thank you all so much for watching. And I will see you all next week, where we're either going to do Design Dorks or the next roundtable. See you then.